Push the button. Green is up.
Good evening, good evening. We're about to get started. Hi, so for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Mickey Steinberg. I'm your county commissioner and representing Aventura. Oh, it just got louder. Can you hear me? And it's an honor to be here. I want to thank everybody for being here this evening and welcome you all to this wonderful city and wonderful forum done by these wonderful representatives and senators that are here today. I just wanted to give you a quick update. How many of you have heard about the condo loan assessment program that Miami-Dade County has put out? Okay, I see some hands. Well, just to give you an update, we will be relaunching. We have it on a pause at the moment, but they will be restarting that program this summer. And just to give you some quick highlights, the program is currently paused due to the high volume of applicants, allowing the Housing Department to process submissions in a timely manner, while also updating and modernizing the application system and website. Applications are still under review, so we still have some that are pending, and it's expected to relaunch this summer, as I mentioned. And just some key takeaways, it is a 0% loan of up to $50,000 per unit owner that goes to your association on your behalf. There are stipulations and regulations that are tied to that loan, and I won't get into it tonight too much, but please feel free to email my office, district4@miamidade.gov, and we're happy to give you information on the loan program. And to date, we have closed on 2010 loans, equaling $52.9 million. We have pending closings of about 41, and we have some pre-approved pending applicants and some that are under review, totaling $65.3 million. We know these assessments can be difficult, but they're necessary, and we want to make sure that we help and be a good partner. So again, thank you so much, and I look forward to a great conversation this evening.
Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm Mayor Weinberg, City of Aventura, and this is the type of thing that we love to do because we want you to know what's going on in Tallahassee. We love the fact that we have constituents that want to be informed, and as the flagship municipality for condominium associations, there's a lot of stuff that happens up there that impacts us very, very directly. So let me first let you, I want to recognize the commissioners that work with me to hopefully always make Aventura what we always have been, the city of excellence. Commissioner Bloom, Commissioner Orlinsky, Commissioner Cruz, and Commissioner Friedland. So if you are an elected official from another neighboring municipality, please let me know. We want to also recognize you. We love the fact that we get along with our neighbors. You're seeing pointing, but I don't see. Phyllis Smith, are you here? Phyllis Smith, North Miami Beach. Thank you. So I want to recognize these people, and I know they're itching to get started. So first of all, our senator, for almost all of you in the room, Jason Pizzo, Senator Pizzo. Tireless advocate, and if you remember during COVID, I don't believe he slept. Of course, then he was a younger man. I want to tell you that he just had a milestone birthday yesterday. I want you to wish him happy birthday. He is now of a certain age, which shall remain nameless, but of a certain age. Looking fine, I might add, fine. I'll go to the end here because I want to recognize Senator Bradley. Jennifer Bradley, her jurisdiction is nowhere near us. I would say closer, much closer to Jacksonville, Florida. But she is always here and always advocating on behalf of condominium owners, always advocating. I think there's 4 condominiums in her jurisdiction, but she knows what's right for the state of Florida and the people of Florida. She is one of the best friends that Aventura and Dade County has. Jennifer Bradley, thank you so much for always being here. And we have a new participant, and I hope it'll continue and you'll keep coming. And thank you, Senators, for bringing Melanie Griffin, the Secretary of DBPR. Obviously, very, very important. And all of you have things that don't go as planned. In fact, I just received an envelope when I walked in. I'm sure it's filled with love letters of what we haven't done right. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. That's what you're here for, and we really appreciate you being here. And you're gonna see, as I told you a minute ago, we're a very, very special community. We actually get along with neighboring cities, with our own commission, and it's wonderful. So I'm gonna stop now, and I'm gonna let you guys get started. This is why you're here. And by the way, thank you for being here. Look at this attendance, standing room only, fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Mayor, thank you. But if everything was great, there wouldn't be that many people here, right? More exciting things to do. I think our first, Maggie, I think our very first meeting related to condos was right here in this room, like 7 years ago. It was before Surfside, but it was when I'm seeing some familiar faces: anger, angst, anxiety, frustration, impatience, feeling that nobody's listening, nobody's doing anything, nobody can do anything, nobody will do anything, and a lot of frustration. And then we worked forward towards that. The shortest answer to give you about what happened this past year in Tallahassee as it relates to condos is not much, if anything. And here's why. Senator Bradley led the charge on passing a lot of bills. Those bills had a lot of things in them. They were pretty, complicated, it seemed, in application. They required a lot of moving parts and things to be aligned and for people to understand it. We realized, much like when I'm waiting for the water to boil so I can make myself a dish of pasta, you need to just leave it alone. You need to leave it alone and see what happens. This is actually probably gonna be the most productive meeting and time and era of this condo world in Florida that we're gonna see. And it was critically important for things to be flushed out. We just heard from the mayor of the city of Aventura. Before that, we heard from the commissioner in Miami-Dade County. We are state legislators, and then of course you have the federal government. But just about anything that controls, dictates, has purview, authority over your quality of life comes from the state, the county, and the local level. And all 3 of those layers are represented here. Now, like many of you, when I first got into politics, I was like, who is this DBPR? And do they ever respond, and do they ever answer? Well, one of the things that we heard from all of you was the following. It's great. We'll follow the rules. We'll do what we're supposed to do. We'll attend meetings. We'll be diligent. We'll be good neighbors. We'll be good residents. But that means that you guys got to start putting some teeth and requirements on the board members, and you have to do your due diligence, and there has to be accountability and transparency. And we assured you that we would provide the necessary resources and do what we can. It was really just Senator Bradley and I, and with 38 other senators, that we got people on board. What are the necessary components and tools and resources necessary to do it? Today, I want to introduce Secretary Melanie Griffin, who is the Secretary of DBPR. Now, you know DBPR, you probably associate with condos, but how many of you get your nails done once in a while? How many of you eat at a restaurant? Who governs those businesses? DBPR. So really on a purview over quality of life. So we're gonna get right into it and engage. I would like Secretary Griffin to introduce herself, about the agency, the state agency, what it's comprised of, what type of footprint they have and presence they have in this area, in this region. And then we're just gonna fire it away. This is gonna be very interactive, okay? Yes, it's gonna be very interactive. We're politicians and we can just sit here and talk all day and say nothings, but we need to hear from you, otherwise we can't fix anything. Secretary Griffin.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I am a native Floridian from the Tampa Bay area and have enjoyed spending quite a bit of time in South Florida, as you can imagine, the past several years working on these issues. I would like to first introduce you to some of our important team members who are here, who have really been leading the charge, fixing condo issues in Florida, and in particular in these jurisdictions down here in South Florida. So first we have our division director, Jennifer Moore. If you'll stand up. Jen joined the team almost 2 years ago and has done a wonderful job creating several policies and procedures and changes in the division that have really been helping our teams get up and running and taking the bull by the horns. To her left, Cassio Marquez, if you'll next stand up. Cassio is a member of our team who has been with the department for nearly 10 years. He knows 718, which is the chapter that governs condos, somewhat like the back of his hand. He has served in nearly every bureau that the division has in terms of education, as well as compliance that's over our investigations, and of course is now heading up our ombudsman's office. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second in terms of the wonderful things you're doing, so thank you. And then rounding out our team today in person, in addition to me, is Christy Fazikis and Adam Bonenfant. Christy is over here, and then Adam is in the back of the room. They are Legislative Affairs Director and Deputy Director, and so they oftentimes intersect with a lot of our constituent complaints that come directly in the door, including those that you may interface with in terms of local law enforcement or through one of the senator's offices, et cetera. A couple of the ways that you can get directly to us, and Adam and Christy, if we haven't already done it, I'd like to go ahead and hand out as many of our RAC cards as possible. Hopefully we have one for every single person here. If not, I'm sure that everyone has their personal device and we can easily take pictures of them. But the division has done a great job of creating several materials that really show how it is that we can help you. And so the first thing that you're going to see on the RAC card that we are handing out is how you can file a complaint. And so if you are someone that needs help, if you're a unit owner and you need help from the department, accessing records, understanding what is going on financially with your condo unit or association, if you want to request education, you can go ahead and scan that Q code with your personal device. Again, get them out. We know you're paying attention. And that is right there. It's the first Q code on this RAC card. The second one is how to connect with our Office of Ombudsman. And this is where I want to brag on Cassio and his team as he comes around with some of these RAC cards, is that he has really heard the cry for the demand from constituents across Florida to have access to our offices. So we have 13 offices across the state, from Doral to Pensacola. So if you are a condo owner that wants to come in person to any of our offices, in particular here in South Florida, we have condo personnel in 2 offices in Fort Lauderdale, as well as our office in Doral, that of course are available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we have speakers in both English and Spanish, as well as translation devices. So if you're most comfortable speaking, say, Russian, in some of our neighboring neighborhoods, then we can use those devices to translate in real time. So of course, you're always welcome to come to the office. Additionally, what Cassio and his team have been doing since February of 2025, so now for about 18 months, is that they are in person on Miami Beach the first and third Wednesday of every month. And then they're in person in Sunny Isles the first and third Thursday of every month, and then have additional events in other locations like Aventura, Hialeah, Hollandale, et cetera, around the South Florida area. And so you can connect with them in person several times per month. And you'll see on the RAC card, we have a dedicated condo website, condos.myfloridalicense.com. When you go to that website or scan that Q code, what it's going to do is take you directly to an online calendar where you can sign up for an appointment. So when Cassio says, so for instance, he was at the beach today, he had advertised office hours from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. You could sign up for a half-hour slot right there easily on the website. You can send your documents in advance, and he and his team can be prepared to talk to you. Every other business day of the month, we also are offering ombudsman office hours, and those are all offered virtually. And although there's certainly been a demand for the in-person office hours, which is why we've made a commitment to hosting them, what we've really found is that the true demand where we've been filling up has been online, that it is much easier in terms of, we're in South Florida with traffic, with the cost of gas these days, with trying to get around. A lot of times there are several things that we can solve for you through those online office hours that, again, are available every single day of the week. Same process, scan the Q code, go directly to the calendar, click on EasyNet and sign up for an appointment. Again, if it involves documents or facts, you want them to have an advance to review, send the documents, and they can connect with you and take in all of the concerns that you may have. The last piece on that RAC card, and then of course, we're happy to take questions and looking forward to the interactive dialogue tonight, but is about education and resources. So over the past year, our team has been on site at almost 450 meetings throughout South Florida and has been helping with several things in terms of elections, in terms of people that have questions about reviewing their SIRS, reviewing their finances, et cetera. And if you would like for the team to come do a proactive presentation to educate your association or your unit owners, again, in English or Spanish, online or in person, just scan that Q code. It will show you where you can online go ahead and put in a request for our team to connect with you virtually or come on site. It also highlights 10 pre-approved programs that we already have available regarding unit owner rights and responsibilities, our board member certification that over 40,000 Floridians have taken over the past year plus, et cetera. And you can put in your request right there online. So the division has really made a lot of strides over the past year. Thank you, senators, for giving us this year to really implement, because there's a lot of resources that we've been able now to make available to our constituents to make things easier to understand what's happening in real time and to connect with us in real time.
So my understanding is you have 2 offices in Fort Lauderdale. You do the roaming offices and visits as well as Doral. My understanding is you have 80 full-time DBPR personnel between those 3 offices,
At
correct?
least, yes.
Okay. Is Winston Towers here? Where's Winston Towers? Okay. Well, let's take 600. Where's 600? Okay. Recently had some movement or a recall on a board position, right? So Jen, just to show you like who's involved, where's Jen?
Jen's over here.
Jen, where are you?
They're talking about 600.
Let's talk about, so just to give you an idea of how this works, how many of you have emailed my office or talked to Joanne in my office? Okay. Joanne gets all the information in, and then she sends me in batches and then sets up meetings but then she also, while you guys are concurrently are filing an investigation or whatever, also sends things to contacts. When you hear legislative affairs person, Adam, so Joanne then says, hey, Adam, take a look at these 4 or 5. These are really time sensitive. These are critical. And then they go back and forth, and then they come back with resolutions or suggestions, whatever. And then things get bumped up every once in a while when it becomes like really urgent or something time sensitive. Sometimes we have people who have control of the checkbook, and it's really dangerous if they're able to continue to serve, and we have to sort of put a stop to it. But like, let's take Winston Towers just to show you like that they're listening. Jen, we were just talking in the back before, and I said, hey, what do we do in a situation where, there's a recall on somebody and it's valid and it should go into effect in real time in person, but what's one problem with the statute that maybe Senator Bradley and I need to take a look at this year?
One identified opportunity.
Here.
Yes.
One opportunity that we've identified in the division is in Chapter 718. If it was recalled through our arbitration department, they can file trial de novo, which puts it into the court system and makes the arbitration moot. So in Chapter 720, which governs HOAs, that arbitration is binding, so potentially making Chapter 718 arbitration binding as well.
So instead of filing down at the courthouse, getting a case number, getting on a docket, having to make a court appearance, hire attorneys, go through a whole court process, you're saying somewhat internally, DBPR can actually hear it, resolve it, and have a disposition, obviously much quicker, and finalize that right away.
Quicker and cheaper, yes.
Quicker and cheaper, okay? So we're gonna call that the Winston Towers model, which is under 720 for like homeowner associations, they can handle that internally On 718 for condos, it allows for what's called de novo, which is Latin for start from beginning and brand new, and they're allowed to go ahead and drag it out in court. My concern is this is not in a vacuum. The longer something drags out, the more shady stuff happens, okay? So that's something that we definitely have to work on that issue. Okay. Taylor, grab a microphone. How many of you have visited in person one of the DBPR offices to sit down with an appointment to produce info? There and 2 over here and all over there. Okay. I would like to hear from somebody who made an office visit and still has an unresolved issue. Go ahead, in the back with the hat on.
Actually, I have 2 circumstances, and I've been there twice.
Hold on, we're gonna bring you a microphone. Go ahead.
A little bit lackluster, but for the most part, I did get a little bit of what I needed to get, and I have a couple of cases I'm currently working on to work with the president and the property manager, which happen to be brothers in my condominium. So they're working on those right now.
Okay, who from DBPR wants to take it, or even Senator Bradley? I for many years was a condo dweller, and I thought at first, wait a second, the management company is managing the building, and they own the painting company, and they own the pressure washer, and they own the thing. What's actually the law on that? Or these close associations and relationships?
Yeah, and thank you for that. Over the last several years, we've hit and updated and put teeth in enforcement of a lot of different sections of 718, which governs condos. And one of them was conflicts of interest, just for the board members, but also for management companies, where the board wouldn't realize that the management company had a financial stake in a contract that was presented to the board. And so those conflict provisions and that transparency and the required for heightened scrutiny, if there is such a conflict of interest, is now greatly enhanced compared to where it was. So now you see that similarly for board members and for your management companies who are directing if they own the landscape company, but the board doesn't know, and that's something as a board member that's pretty material to the contract. Does the property manager own this company? Are we getting a fair deal? What is the price? Or is it competitively bid? So now those requirements are in statute where they weren't before, and I think that's going to be, which was, I will tell you, was fought against by the management companies in Tallahassee. Very much did not want this provision, said it would be unworkable and all sorts of things, but that was an absolute must because there were just too many shady dealings and under the table deals that loses trust in the process and is just wrong. So those were updated in the last couple of years.
Who else had an office visit and has some suggestions or something outstanding or still lingering that's not been resolved from an office visit? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm from Broward, my property in Broward, and I had an office visit to Fort Lauderdale office. I have to tell you, Madam Secretary, it's the worst office. You need to take a closer look at it.
Let's stop there. Let's stop there. The aesthetically, the staff, what? The ceilings are too low. When you say awful, what do you mean?
No, I mean the performance, the awareness of the law, what they need to do.
Okay.
The problem for me was obtaining records, official association records, because problems regarding financial issues, conflict of interest. Some people on the board were delinquent when they ran for re-election, which by law they cannot be on the board. So they were withholding records. So I emailed, I don't get no response. I have the email for David Diaz, supposed to be a supervisor in this office. He doesn't respond. So I decided to go and figure out how can they help me. The length of, well, you have to file a complaint. I have complaints. I already did. Well, you have to talk to your investigator. Well, my investigator already transferred it to the general counsel office. And I'm waiting for the lawyer to handle it. But I need some progress. We having somebody on the board should not be on the board.
Cassio.
Yeah.
Where's Cassio?
Yeah, so
Where's
at this
Cassio?
point-
Are you familiar with Hampton Beach Club condominium in Lauderdale by the Sea? Okay. So, go ahead.
Okay, so at this point, Cassio, I spoke, and one of the issues I had is I had to obtain some of those records through discovery, because unfortunately I was sued, a slap suit, for defamation, that I'm asking for records, how dare you? You're defaming us. So I was sued, so I hired a lawyer, and he obtained some of those documentation through discovery. Not of all of them, bits and pieces. It's still missing. You cannot just build or assume. So my issue with them, well, you have some. What you complaining about? I said, well, I got it through discovery.
You now have 6 open investigations with DBPR, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
and it's been going since February of last year. When I was a board member, I decided to give up being a board member because it turned out to be a nightmare.
Okay.
And at this point, I assume that I have the right to see official record. I don't have to go through requesting official records as a board member. But they recommended, no, I have to do a certified mail. They refused to receive the letter. I had to actually wait for the mailman to be there. The second time around, I had to learn how to overcome this. And take him by hand to the office so he can deliver it in front of me so they don't refuse to receive it.
What's the most important thing that you would like the DBPR to resolve as soon as possible? That's still open and outstanding.
Yeah, well, I need, number one, a better performance in Fort Lauderdale office.
You say better performance, doctor, but I'm asking, like I asked you in my office, and you're at the top of my list in my binder. That's why I know you have 6 open investigations. You had SLAPP issues with suits. You have an OGC investigation open. My question to you, as you're standing 6.5 feet away from the Secretary of DBPR, who has 1,654 employees, 80 here in the region for condos, what exactly would you like to see immediately from her office to help you?
I need to see immediately from your office, Madam Secretary, is better training, better enforcement. I need actions. We're not getting any actions from your staff.
Doc, I think everyone knows where I'm going with this. You have six open investigations. I don't think those are open investigations into the performance or the attitude or the diligence of the agency. There's specific documents that you want. There's a record, there's an accounting, there's a checkbook, there's a contract, there's a bid. What specifically is open that you want, doctor, that Secretary Griffin can make sure her staff gets to you by tomorrow afternoon? What?
I need all the record I requested.
Okay.
I need people who hold it to be held accountable.
Okay.
They hold it for a year. I need them to be held accountable and off this board.
Okay. Who's next? Go ahead, sir. Mr. Rosenblatt, go ahead.
Yes, I live in the Turnberry Tower building, and I just gave Paul some information on some letters. I'll bring up to you one, that's my last one I have left from it. I've been in the real estate business, living in Florida for over 60 years. First 20 was Miami Beach, and next 40 was right here in Aventura. In both buildings, I know most of the developers and builders, and, okay, thank you, and most of the people. Right now, as my letter states, we are living in one of the worst buildings in Aventura, Florida. It was one of the nicest buildings built by the Sofa family. It was one of the 4 buildings of the Sofa family. And we live in I lived in the one across the street, the Marina Tower, and then I moved over here to the Turnberry Tower. And I had a major problem in the Marina Tower because they did certain, on the dock and on the terraces, they put glass that never met the code of the city at the time because it called for laminated glass. And they have glass on that building, does not meet the code. Today, keeps breaking and they keep replacing it. A company called Palmer Glass Company were the ones that the building board of directors hired for the job. And now that same company is coming over to my building and doing the glass terraces of my building. As of yesterday, we had a meeting, and I went downstairs to look at the glass that they're trying to bring in. They got a permit to do ES glass, as the letter that I gave you shows, and they switched it to another company. I forget the name right now.
Mr. Rosenblatt, I actually just went through your entire letter.
What's that?
I just went through your entire letter.
Oh, good, thank you.
Section 619 and 5 are of most concern to me immediately as a former prosecutor. I need your phone number or your contact information on here. So this is a little outside of this scope, but everything that you're handing me is true, accurate, and correct? 100%. I need your contact information. Maggie, can you talk to Mr. Rosenblatt, please? That's Maggie, my chief of staff. She's a 15-year veteran homicide prosecutor and now in the Florida Senate. Can you talk to Mr. Rosenblatt and look at his letter, please? And call the appropriate person? Who's next? Go ahead, ma'am. What you got there? What kind of coffee is that?
I don't know if you remember me, but Senator Pizos, I
Yes.
talked to you for Parque Dorado condominium, remember?
On which condominium?
Parque Dorado condominium.
yes.
Okay, which is, we put 2 complaints to the DBPR, and both of the cases were closed, and we didn't get an answer from what we even did it with the lawyer, okay? And honestly, we give up, okay? Even we sent a letter to the governor, okay? And he sent us a letter back saying that we may need to go to court against them because we can do, and what I was saying is, we pay so much money in our condominiums. We pay so much taxes, okay? And we don't get the help we need, as a condominium owners, okay? Which is ridiculous that we have to claim to the DBPR or to you guys, Senator Pizos, or the people that we get close to. And our complaints as the owner, we are the one paying these condominiums. And the people that we get, we've been treating like we nobody, that's the way I felt.
Okay, two things quick. Nobody that knows me thinks that I think anybody's a nobody, okay? And the lengths that I will go to help people. What was the nature of the investigation or the complaint?
Paperwork, same as the lady.
Just production of records?
Yeah.
Who's the
Remember,
manager?
you told me next day, after that day,
Yeah.
you even called the person who handles our condominium. You said you were
Yes.
gonna be there next day. You never were there. Nobody
No, that's
went.
not- no.
Nobody requests
No.
anything. For be honest with you.
Who's the management company?
Pardon me?
Who was the manager, property manager?
First Service Residential, okay?
Okay.
Okay, which is
Is
one of the
Kate-
worst for me, but, and I even called, you tell in front of the first person, you told that person to call me and send me the documentation. I called
All
that
right,
person.
hold on. So while I was standing with you, I called the management company myself and said to produce the records for you, and they never did.
Right,
Okay.
in that reunion, okay, in
Okay.
that place over there.
Yep.
I called the gentleman, I told him, I explained him who I
called Mary
was,
Dockers to say
I
the
explained him
details.
everything.
I got it.
And that person never answered me back. I called him several times and he never returned back to me. He spoke to me the first time.
Okay,
And
so
when I told him-
let me throw this up. We spoke about it. You asked for records. I called the management company. They did give you a contact. You spoke to somebody briefly, but then they never followed up with you.
No,
Okay, do you know that person's name?
I don't have it right here. That was a year and a half ago.
Take your time, because before I leave tonight, we're gonna call First Service on the phone together.
Okay,
Okay?
okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you got it. Yeah. I can hear you.
Oh, thank you. So I get a little nervous when it comes to public speaking, so if it's okay, I'm going to read my question directly. We've seen a lot of miracles happen with the correct interference. Myself and a handful of residents are here because we have done our due diligence. We filled out the DBPR complaints, we've spoken to investigators, authorities, written emails, done our research nonstop on all accounts. We have been patient. The objective when filling out DBPR complaints is that it reaches the top. In my opinion, I believe this panel is the pinnacle of who we would want to see our case. My question is more of a request. If I may respectfully present to you an organized, fact-based series of DBPR submitted documents. I'm not asking you to review it on stage.
I see a binder with tabs,
There you go.
and that gets me excited.
But I am requesting a serious review, as this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes,
Yeah? perfect.
yeah.
Thank
Taylor,
you.
can you grab that, bring it up?
Thank you. Let me get the binder.
So we have a few people from our building from Ensenada to Aventura.
Yep. Daniela told me Ensenada was coming. Got it. These are all the complaint numbers right here.
For the access to records, is that what that one is?
Can you look over this one real quick? Next. Ma'am.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for being present. Prosecutor, Senator.
No, not anymore. I'm not a prosecutor anymore.
DBPR and the police of Aventura here and all the attendees here. I'm representing here the Commodore Plaza condominium. My name is Espana Aristi. Everybody knows what happened there, and I understand that we have to go through all these steps in order to be heard. We went to the DBPR, complained about the situation, okay, of what we are facing. We did a recall, we put new people there, and the new people on the board has hostage our financials, has hostage our community. They replaced the management, they replaced the security guards, they replaced the attorney, and they replaced the maintenance. This is a tactic, a strategy to allocate and intimidate the owners. I've been arrested as an owner 2 days ago, including another owner, Stan, okay? Just because we're raising questions about our financials, about the money in the reserves that disappear, about requesting information, and they put it hard. They making us request the financials per month.
Ma'am, 2 days ago, when this happened, was it at a board meeting?
Yes, it was
Okay.
a board meeting.
Okay,
It was a board meeting.
I'm
They
gonna-
accused me falsely of profanities.
Are your board meetings recorded?
Yes, they are.
Do you have access to a recording of your
Yes,
board
I
meeting?
have. I have the recording, I have everything in video. And this is a process.
You have it, or David, is it, what's your name? What's your
I
name?
have everything.
You guys
stamped.
both have a recording of it? Okay, Maggie?
So therefore, I'm requesting the government to come in because we already knocked on doors on all the politicians, the DBPR, the state attorneys, not you, another state attorney, and they want me to investigate. I don't work for the government. I'm not here to investigate. I did the investigation. I'm giving you the information that is happening to us. Right now, they using and manipulating, okay, intimidating the owners.
What specifically have you asked for from your board that you haven't gotten?
I want a legislation, new legislation to remove power of board members. We don't need board members. We do not need board members. Why? Why we don't need board members? It's greedy people there to come and work with the engineers and construction companies to do a big, huge assessment that is not necessary for our condominium.
Okay,
We are not the towers that fall down.
Okay, forgive
We are secure. Let me just finish, please.
Sure.
Let me just finish. We are secure structurally, but this is an organizational plan to put an assessment, making believe the owners we need to pass 40 million, 30 million, 20 million. And we have independent engineers to come over, revise the documents in the city of Aventura, and the city of Aventura knows, and you guys knows me, because I'm the one that put over the investigation and put my face, and I'm the one threatening it right here.
Okay, can if I may, and I appreciate your passion, and I'm sorry that you have to be this frustrated, and this was in the city of Aventura, correct?
Yes.
I would like to see the video. You have commissioners here, not supposed to intervene with another situation, but I would like to see the video and probably give some background on it, and then maybe talk to you about the arrest and talk about that. Here's what I want to ask you though, okay?
Yes.
your guys are up for a 40-year recertification.
We passed the 40-year.
You passed the 40-year.
Yes, we did.
So now this is SIRS or these are milestone inspections?
Everything is done, is completed. They just making believe that we didn't pass the 40-year certification. I go to the city of Aventura, pulled all the permits.
So
pulled
you
all the
passed this
permits.
40-year certification?
Yes, we
Let me
did.
finish my question, please.
Yes,
Because I don't know.
yes. we did.
You guys already passed the 40-year, and your board is making you believe that you have to do it again?
No, they are saying that because we are in default for the 40-year, and that the city of Aventura is going to condemn our edification.
Okay.
And then when I go to city of Aventura to pull all the documentation, the city of Aventura does not condemn an edification, it's the engineer.
Okay.
When-
Commissioner Steinberg, can I ask you to meet with this woman for a few minutes and this gentleman and find out what the status is at the county level for recertification? Because it's a county thing.
Yes,
It's not the city of Aventura doing recertification.
yes, I understand all that.
Okay,
I
so this is a-
understand about the engineering.
Ma'am.
Yes,
This is a county commissioner right here who will directly be able to tell you and look up your building and find out as to whether or not there really were deficiencies and you didn't pass the 40-year that had to be cured or remedied, and what the situation is. Mr. Rosenblatt presented me a letter that said that all the owners were presented with a $25 million assessment, then it ballooned up to 41 million, and now it's getting closer to 60. I get you. Senator Bradley and I just last year stopped into a couple board meetings. We walked into one that had a pending $56 million assessment that they were going to vote on that day. We walked out of the meeting 45 minutes later, and miraculously, it went from 56 million to 20 million. Okay? So just,
that is exactly the
so
point.
I need you, so I can get the whole story
Yes,
and join you with your passion about it,
yes.
you need to ask the county what the actual status is. Here's what some of you are also experiencing. Trying to sneak it in because we pass laws that say we want to keep you guys safe, the structural safe. All of a sudden, we're seeing line items like lawn chairs and pool stuff and new rugs and carpets and all of this stuff, because we know the management companies are basically saying, this is the only time we're going to be able to whack these people and get them to open up their checkbooks, so this is the time to do it, okay? Those are easy fixes for us. So I just, before I can continue, I really need to know from the county what's going on with your building.
Thank you
Okay?
so much, thank you
Of
for
course.
being here.
And I need that video.
Thank you for being here, and what you said about the.
You see that redhead right there?
Everything began with 81 million.
Yeah.
And now we are facing 20 million. We have a better proposal for the assessment. How come it's gonna be 81 million assessment and now it's 20?
Ma'am.
But we have a lower one.
Ma'am,
We need help.
You got arrested 2 days ago?
Yes.
I need you to talk to the woman against the wall with the.
FBI come over and investigate.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Okay. Done. And then Mickey, if you can get. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. I got you, sir. I can't miss that shirt.
All right. First of all, Piso, I know you don't remember me. We spoke before. I'm going to say that the building, and you're going to say, I know who you are. Crestview Towers.
Yep.
Okay, so we became famous for the wrong reason. We became the guinea pigs because we were the first big building evacuated after the Surfside. I know you mentioned that we have some people here from North Miami Beach. I want to tell you that I went to North Miami Beach after the evacuation to ask for help. We really didn't get help at all. And I want to thank you, Piso, because you did a lot. Some people here don't know what you did for us, but thank you. He was one of the only government officials that came tough. The person that you see there, I like, because I like people with no BS. And if he has to say bad words, he's going to say it. No problem. He's tough. So thank you for that. Now, one thing. I've been sending emails to the board and some letters that they haven't answered. I know why they don't answer. I know exactly why. Now I have a lien on my property. I just emailed you this morning. I hope you read it because I would like to speak to you. one thing, that's one thing that has to do with the board. Another thing, we need help. Even we reopened the building after 3 years and 10 months. 3 years and 10 months, North Miami Beach. We need help if possible, and we need the board to answer any email and also certified letters that come to them. They don't answer. I know why. Now they have a new company trying to get some properties foreclosed on, but they know they have to be careful.
Did they ever
when
repair the unit with the fire damage on the second floor on the left of the building? The condo unit that had the fire damage on the second floor, the left side of the building, was that ever repaired?
I believe the city was working with her, and
Because
I don't know exactly.
Because I actually offered to pay for an engineer to go in there to.
Okay, I didn't know that, but
Okay.
I think it's.
And I dealt with your water pump issue and the elevator.
Some of that is fixed already.
Okay.
We still need more money, but everyone has to understand, 3 years and 10 months. I myself, during that time, was $32,000. And plus the money that was spent
Sir,
in very bad condition building, and the money that is gone,
Sir,
over
I think-
$1.8 million.
Sir, I think I paid personally for the locksmith to change all the locks to make sure that we inspected every single unit to make sure there was no people or animals left in the building, and we caught a lot of stuff in that building. So I appreciate it. Is
From the DBPR, we went to the DBPR, and we
So
asked.
let me just tell you straight
Go
on
ahead.
Crestview, it's actually not my district, but I've told the senator whose district it is, I don't want to step on your toes, but I'm going to have to close this out and resolve these issues at Crestview, and he's okay with it. Okay? All right. And then votes first, and then we're going there. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Vote, you're next. And then I see you, ma'am. I see you. We're going to go there with the microphone and then.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Go ahead. I see you.
Okay. Am I? Okay. My name is Ricardo Alonso. I live in the Point East Corporation 2.
Yep.
And my request is that I wanted more transparency in my corporation. I request the financial statement, and when I get the financial statement, it's not what I request, it's what they want to give me. Okay, so I cannot check what I need to check and to see what is going on. Another thing is that we need transparency in the way that we need to get in our bulletin board, the certification of the 50-year certification that we paid the assessment for it is being done, and the copy is not posted on it. We requested and we don't get it.
Commissioner, if somebody wants to know the status of a recertification, the posture, where it is, any of those things, can they independently, as an owner in the building, request that from the county?
Yeah, email if you want. Maurice will give you our card, and we can also get you that.
Okay, so there's an alternate way of finding out about what the actual status is, what the government is actually requiring versus maybe what the board is telling you. As it relates to financial statements, did you ever get the excuse from them saying, well, we can't provide them because we'd have to redact personal information of some owners? Is that what you're hearing or no?
Okay. I couldn't hear that.
That he will give you a card?
Yeah. Who's the property manager at Point East? Which company?
Self-managed.
Oh, self-managed, that's right.
Self-manager, yeah, we
Okay.
are a self-manager there.
Okay.
And the other thing that I want to clarify is if where we need the most help is since 2023, we have an election, and the election, we don't have, we're not permitted to have our election committee. Everything is controlled by the board. So it's not a legal election. For 3 years, we having the same results on the election. We cannot have the election.
I see you, ma'am.
They keep the ballot. I don't know what is going on. I need something.
Where's Jen? Jen Moore? Jen?
In the back.
Jen, can you speak to this gentleman about his election issue? I want to hear about the election issue. Okay, okay. We're going to vote T-shirt, then green shirt, and then, ma'am, I got you in the back. Sir, go ahead.
Good afternoon. Yaron Schwartz, Aventura Beach Club, Sunny Isles Beach. 618 units, 109 commercial, 509 residential. No Kaufman language. We're going by 1995 bylaws, and everybody abandoning us. They are condominium controlled by the commercial units. 60 of them are actually run by a hotel. And we basically, every time we're approaching any kind of governmental institution, we have no jurisdiction. So create the jurisdiction. You're the legislative.
It's a condo hotel.
It's well, there is no animal condo hotel. It's a mixed use commercial residential.
Okay,
I was searching for condo hotel. I couldn't find anything that addressing condo hotel. Yes, but it is a condo hotel. However, we have 25% of the people are a full-time residential.
But the 25% of those people that are full-time residential could put their units into a pool to be rented through the hotel property?
They don't have to. They can if they want.
No, my question is, they can if they want to, right?
They can if they want. Also the other 75, they can if they want.
Okay.
Also, the other 75 can reside half year in the unit and half year rented.
Understood. We've had many discussions about condo hotel situations. There's another one, a pretty prominent one. The issue is balancing getting the benefit without a burden. And it's a longer conversation. It probably involves people signing away the right to ever put their unit into a hotel pool ever again, or foreclose that idea. We don't have a critical mass enough a number of people that want to do that in the buildings that we've seen. But I'm happy to talk to you about it. It would be a separate section of law.
Who? I'm asking you who? If you're
No,
not
sir,
representing me, DBPR.
Okay, guys, hold on. If I may, I see everybody's hands. I have a weird memory. I see everybody's hands, and the order it was. Ma'am, you can sit down. You're next after green shirt. I promise you. Sir, how old is the building? How old is the property?
1966.
1966.
Yes.
In 1966, everybody thought it was a great idea. Everybody was on board. And as time passed, the dynamic and the sentiment in the building changed, and it shifted probably at different times from being more sort of commercial and transient and hotel to more residential and permanent. And then as time passes, those places, those groups of people that want to make this and consider it their home full time start getting pissy about the people that are there just on the weekend. And why those people on the weekend are in units where those who control those units have more say than you that's there 365 days a year. But that is the benefit of the bargain and the burden that it was assumed in 1966. To undo it, you need a critical mass of people under an action of law. If we put it in the books, you would need 80% of the units or 75% of the units.
In our case, 99%.
And I understand that's what I call tantamount to pie in the sky. It's never going to happen. I hear you, but we have not found the balance or the number. I mean, let me just ask anybody randomly. Do you know what the percentage is to terminate a condominium? What percentage of people you need to get together to terminate it? I heard 9 different numbers. 75. I heard 90. What else? 80. Yeah.
It depends on the bylaws. Our bylaws calling for 99 for actually everybody. That's
So your own bylaws call for 99%.
100% actually.
Basically 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because the commercial units have a stake on it, they don't want to because they basically milking us day in, day out. It will never happen.
Okay.
And this is why we're asking your help.
No, this is a conversation Senator Bradley and I have had at length about what to do with hotel condos, that they change and the function and use, and really the dynamic, the sense of community changes over the years.
I'll tell you, in the last condo bill that passed, this was a big issue and something that was very important to both myself and Senator Pizzo, because there was a prior change that reset the rights and responsibilities of unit owners with regard to the hotel. And basically they were relegated to just really having ownership rights over inside the threshold of their door. They weren't able to use the common areas. They were charged for the common areas. They didn't have the same, they were paying for upgrades. And it was very concerning. So what we did is in the last condo bill, we struck out the retroactivity language. We said, look, none of that language is going to apply to the folks sitting in this room who already had bylaws, who were already existing in the state of Florida. Going forward, new hotel condos, govern yourself accordingly, that this, because it can create not in defense of, but the reason why a statute like that is proposed is you can run into title issues and title companies and everybody saying there's confusion, we need resolution on whose rights and responsibilities stop where, what is a common area, so in an attempt to try to provide clarity to that, I think that language was creating issues like you just described. And so the last condo bill that we passed removed all of that retroactivity so that those new ground rules would not affect the folks in this room who did not sign up with those rules. So going forward, there will be a new playing field for newly created hotel condos, but nothing that was passed a few years ago is now going to affect the folks in this room.
So other words, you're telling me that I'm stuck, and that's it? That's what you're telling me, basically.
No, I'm saying your bylaws control. It has not been overridden by state law. So you've always been governed by your bylaws and you continue to be.
Yes, but if we have corruption, if we have stealing money, if we have the commercial units that doesn't pay assessment and they do whatever they want to do. So what you're telling me is that I have to hire my own attorney?
No, sir, what we're telling you is when you bought there for a reason. And the rules of that place were presented. And very often when we're excited and exuberant about purchasing a place or a new home or moving or relocating, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily, happening into an area, sometimes we don't read the fine print. But what I want you to realize is we realize that people have morphed buildings from hotel condo really into condo permanent living. And we're trying to find the balance of how much the state, and hear me when I say this, what's the state's role in interfering and entering into and intervening and changing contractual language that people agreed to at some point? I assure you, nobody here wants me to take a look at a contract between you and somebody else you're in business with on behalf of the state of Florida and change the terms. So that's all I'm saying. But we realize that some people are suffering. Some people are paying to restore and renovate a hotel lobby that they don't have access to. I get it. Anybody here from Mystic Point? Anybody here from Mystic Point? I own a little marina slip here in Aventura. I pay an association fee every month. Last year I got an assessment. It's a marina slip. I got nothing to do with the condo building. I got an assessment last year to redo parts of Mystic Point that I paid for. I don't have access to the building. I get it. I read the fine print. I knew what I was getting myself into. The question for us is, how much do you want us to intervene on behalf of the 25% who call it permanent home to undo a contract that dates back to 1966? And that's the question we have to answer ourselves. I'm not insensitive to your position, sir. I'm not
complaining about the bylaws,
gotcha.
sir. You misunderstood me. I'm not complaining. I know what I was reading the bylaws. I bought in. Was not a single place there that was saying that they can steal my money. That's what they're doing.
Okay.
And I want you guys to have an agency that if I'm coming and showing them the evidence and I show numbers and I
Have you ever had a meeting with DBPR?
We had.
Okay.
We had few.
Okay.
And then they basically saying it's not, we don't have jurisdiction. That's the answers we're getting.
You have a letter from DBPR saying, like you're saying, we're closing it out, we don't have jurisdiction?
I have a legal opinion, black and white, saying exactly all the problems there that we paid for, but then the answer is go and have a lawsuit, sue the association.
Yeah, that's what, I understand. Senator Bradley and I don't want people, Senator Bradley and I don't want people to have to go to court and go in their pocket to go to court. Jen, after you talk to the gentleman about the election issue from 2023, can you just see who he spoke to and what the status was at DBPR? Or if Cassio can? Okay. And sir, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you. Cassio's behind. I'm going to talk to you personally because we have to do something about the hotel condo issue at some point.
Yes.
Ma'am, you've been very patiently waiting. Hi, fellas.
Senator Paso, nice meeting you. I have the pleasure to talk to your assistant, Joanna, with another owner, Ensenada Condominium Association located in Country Club Drive. I'm one of the owners. The other owner is Katrina Geslock. My name is Patricia Romero. Both of us have talked to Joanne, very helpful and wonderful lady. The problems of Ensenada Condominium started 4 years ago, probably 5 years ago, when the board completely ignored our condo docs and do whatever they please, okay? We started without our approval voting, which is part of the condo association, with $8 million assessment. Ended up with $10.5 million assessment. You will say, okay, wonderful, our property is going to improve. It's a 50-year-old property. It's a mess. It's everything, every day is worse and worse. So where's our money? We don't know. There is a delinquency for $850,000 and they put one lien. Illegal special assessments, all the time. We pay for the roof twice because Mickey Mouse contractors hired by the board. Ensenada doesn't owe the seawall. The board, we had an assessment for 1.6 million, but they expected or waited until the seawall collapsed. And then now it's 3.2 million seawall that we don't own, according to the engineers in the county. So here have 27 violations of our board. They fired company after company after company. Today, finally, they got what they want. Self-management, meaning there are puppets allowing
How many units in Ensenada?
276 units, 2 towers on the canal. So they want our land. That's the problem. So they're making our life miserable. Is a short word what we are living right now.
You have paperwork from the county. You have paperwork from the county that says that the seawall is not owned by the association?
Well, we talked to the county and we do have papers. Okay.
Says that you guys do not own the seawall.
We have several people here, owners, Ensenada Condominium, who are
Right.
Ensenada. And
Commissioner Steinberg, if they've got.
the police goes to our property almost every day because we are victims. They harassing us. They tow away the cars. They say that.
When's your next board meeting? Since when?
Meetings
Just-
are at 9 in the morning, so nobody can assist because people
All right,
are working.
I understand, but my question is, when was the last actual notice board meeting in your building?
April 30 for the budget. And it was only on Zoom, not in person. So the law says, I believe, that it can be done in Zoom, but you have to have it physical in person, right? Okay, they ignore everything. They tow away cars.
When's the next board meeting?
We
Who's
don't have board meetings.
who's the person at the building now? Who's the person at the building that should know when the next board meeting is?
Well, the manager, but we don't have a manager company. We have a guy.
Yeah, I understand. Mag, you there? Mag?
After so many companies, the police is very
Okay.
familiar with our building because
Okay.
they go there almost every day.
Okay, so someone from our office and someone from DBPR are going to attend the next board meeting. And we're going to ask them in an email officially, when is your next board meeting?
We don't know.
No, ma'am, but I'm going to ask them
Okay.
when the next board meeting is and what address and what room should we look for the meeting? You're telling me that they're early and they're by Zoom, right? Okay.
Used to be 7
So-
o'clock at night, so everybody could go.
Understood.
Okay.
Can one or two of you go over and see Maggie and just information and who we should call if you've got, yes, yes.
And I can give you some, but I
Yep.
would like.
Thank you.
Okay,
Our business cards.
Yep.
got it.
Thank you.
We are in trouble.
We got it.
Yep.
We are victims.
Absolutely.
They want our land. They're ruining us.
Just,
Yes.
let me make one point before we go on to the next question. And this is, what I'm going to say is very quick. The issue with boards just not having meetings, and so that members don't have the ability to show up at a public meeting, ask questions, and get information. That was changed and that was addressed in the last bill, not this session, but the bill before, that requires boards to have 4 in-person meetings a year, opportunities with a broad direction to say owners should be able to go to the meeting and hear from the board and get their questions answered. So you have an avenue that is it's a complaint-driven process like much of 718. If they're not having those meetings and you don't have an opportunity, you can file a complaint. You can now redress as opposed to just not having that ability. But go ahead.
If I can ask Jen or Cassio or Christy or Adam, whatever, recently in this area, this region, where a board has been found in gross violation of the meeting requirement or any of that stuff, like what's the penalty been, or what's the, for gross violations of meetings or transparency or any of that stuff? Guys, do you guys send strong letters? I mean, what do we do? Do we have to put more teeth in it to say, if you don't make available a public meeting, then you are removed from then you're removed from the board?
The only thing in fiduciary duty that we have jurisdiction over, like the global fiduciary duty, DBPR does not have jurisdiction over. We have over kickbacks and debit card use.
Okay.
And what was your other question? I'm sorry.
So I'm wondering if we have to fashion something that basically says your city commissioners, if they don't attend a series of meetings in a row, they're removed from, they can't sit up here anymore. Okay, so does everybody like the idea that if they don't make available to owners to have meetings in person, then they should be removed? Okay, all right. Yeah, not now, but if we give you the authority to do so. Yeah, okay, all right. Sorry, go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, Senator Pizzo and everyone. My name's Maria DeVito. I'm a licensed CAM, I'm a licensed realtor, and I'm on my board of directors, which is why I'm here, to get the condominium legislative update. And all I'm hearing is what I hear every day where I work and live. Complaints, everybody's got one. Right? I'd like to know what the updates are so I can take that back to my condo and share it with the rest of my board. I don't want to hear any more complaints. I get enough of that where I work and where I live. So that's all I'm here to say.
Okay. Is there anything wrong with the operation, the dynamic, the function,
Where I work, where I am?
where
No.
you are? Nothing's wrong whatsoever.
My board runs perfectly. We have a meeting every first Wednesday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
We have a staff meeting every Monday with the manager. We're self-managed. She's a CAM, I'm a CAM, and we have no problems.
And everything's great.
Yeah, everything's as good as it can be. Nothing's great.
Who's your property manager?
Her name is Ursula Hurtado. We have a CAM.
Right.
We are self-managed. We had a
Okay.
CAM, they were horrible. We interviewed First Residential, no way I was going there. As a CAM for over 15 years, and in the real estate business for over 25 years.
Right.
And I have a good board, nobody's robbing. The last 2 boards, they robbed us like crazy, which is why I volunteered to go on the board. I was president in 2006 and 2007, and I said I'd rather take a bullet than get back on the board.
Okay.
But here I am at a necessity.
Okay.
You want to make sure that
This lady has some magic sauce that we all need to.
Yes.
And I'm a paisan.
And you're a paisan. Okay. So my question for you, here's the update, and this is what I said at the beginning, you may have missed it.
Should I?
We put some money, some resources, some legislation in over the past couple of years. Some of you who were nice to me in the beginning were like, why did you make that requirement? And now we're in a situation where we need to see how it's flushing out. And a lot of you have come to me and said, you made this requirement, you gave us this protection, they're supposed to be transparent, they're supposed to put it on a website, they're supposed to make it easy, it's supposed to be easy to file a complaint, and it has been or it's not, or it hasn't. What I do hear from a lot of people is it's a lot easier to figure and navigate how to formally file something for an investigation, but we're not getting the kind of response that we thought we'd get, because the front end has improved a lot as well. Now that's for us to ask DBPR What are you seeing? So Secretary Griffin and I were in the back for a while before we came out here, and I'm asking, what's the volume of complaints or investigation requests coming in? What are the dispositions? Like, how are they closing out? How many criminal referrals have there been? You've seen some high-profile arrests, obviously, that didn't just, come out of nowhere. But how many are coming in, and what does it look like coming out? I was never happy with what the numbers were a couple of years ago. Secretary Griffin came on, and that's what we need to figure out. So Dr. Ali has 6 open DBPR complaints or investigations, okay? She has 6. The nice binder that I was handed also has 8. 8, and we have all the numbers beginning with 202, 8 right here, okay? And here's my job. And you have 7. Here's my job. I see your hand. Here's my job. If there are 8 complaints, 6 complaints, 7 complaints, 4 complaints, and all of them come back and DBPR says, sorry, some of you may have gotten this letter, we don't have jurisdiction. Have you gotten that letter back before? Okay, so maybe Senator Bradley and I have to work on giving them the jurisdiction. And tonight when we started, you remember that I asked Jen about a particular issue about a condo, Winston Towers, the 600 Winston Towers, because the president has been recalled from that building. But you can't just immediately go and remove them, and then, why not? You could do that under a different statute, you could do it. Why not this one? So if the complaints are coming in, we had an election, a vote in an election, we recalled somebody, we were replacing the board, and they're holding us hostage. DBPR basically said tonight, senators, if you gave us the authority and the power, we could do binding arbitration internally and never have to go to court and spend a dime. That's what I'm taking away from tonight. That's going to be in the law that, next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Go, Taylor, go ahead.
Okay, he's got it. You all know how hard it is to get 200 people to vote on anything together, right? So in 2019-20, we got, my building has 176, the Hampton Beach Club. We got over 110 people to vote out 2 board members for mismanaging funds, $850,000 on consultants, which we never used. Now they're back on the board, and they're treasurer and in charge of the windows. The most expensive projects that we have, we're spending now $27 million, okay?
How many units, sir?
176.
Gotcha.
And we ask for records and so forth, financial records that are always very cloudy about it. They can't find them. They can, they're just misrepresenting.
Is there a management company?
Excuse me?
Is there a management company?
Yes, no, I was going to get to that. Now, the things I've sent to the DPPR that they just put under the table is since 2024, the end of 2024, oh, one last thing. We have a lawyer that became he moved in 24 November. In 25 January, became a board member. We have $25,000 budget for legal. That year, he spent around $250,000 already. So getting more direct, I've been getting bills since the end of 2024. You owe $15,000. And I said, fine, show me where I missed the payment, I will pay it.
Right.
I've been playing this game now till today. These ladies went with me to KW. They did nothing. And I sent it to the DPPR, has done nothing. I get, oh, you owe $7,000. Oh, you owe $6,000. Oh, you're Joanne, by the way. I said, look, they say I owe $14,000 now. And she said, no, no, no. The record shows that you really only owe $5,000. And then in the meantime, KW wrote me and said, well, you owe me $2,000. And I've got the management company saying they owe me $800. Okay. And it's like around and around and around. The bottom line, and I want to give everybody else time, is that they create a mess so nobody knows what's going on. And they created a mess for me. All I'm asking for is what month did I miss my payment, or what months did I miss my payment?
Okay.
I will
Does
clear
Joanne know, from my office, know the attorney for your association? Know who the attorney is?
We had attorneys, now they hired, what she'll tell you is a bunch of, I don't even
Who?
want. Yeah, but she's got a comment about that, but let me.
Okay, all right.
Let me, I'm done. Can I give this to
Yeah,
Taylor?
yes,
This is
yes.
from my brother, PhD. He has some words about the slap suit that they filed
Gotcha,
against
okay,
us.
okay.
For just speaking up. I never cussed at people or, call them, they've been calling me an idiot and a liar, liar, liar.
I got, in writing? Okay.
No problem.
Sir, go ahead. Mr. Rosenblatt, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sir, guys, let me explain something to you. Let me just say this, okay? Let me just say this. Much like a restaurant franchise, the original place is very good because it's controlled by the owner and then they expand, okay? And sometimes the quality of particular properties, the quality at particular hotels, whatever, is fantastic and earns them a reputation. And then things start fanning out. And then you get the B team and the C team and the D team. And every once in a while, we have to call people in a check. Danielle used to be is the property manager. These are frequent flyers where we have to take a group or a listing of associations and say, why aren't you turning these over? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? One time, Senator Bradley was joking about it today. We had a larger venue in Aventura for this, and the one guy from First Service, the vice president, started charging the stage at me like he wanted to fight me because I was taking him to task on an association. Physically wanted to fight me.
For charging to copy documents.
Because I said, how dare he charge 50 cents a page to copy documents when he should just be providing them anyway. Okay, so here's where here's where we are. Guys, here's where we are. There's a group of you that have KW or First Service or whatever, and I literally need those associations, and I'm going to call and memorialize in writing and ask, where are these documents? He didn't get something that wasn't transparent for accounting purposes. You want to know? Tell me what month started the snowball down the hill that I owe anywhere from $2,000 to $15,000. I'm with you. That's why I asked who the attorney was. Okay, and here's the service that we provide that others can't. Many of these companies come to Tallahassee and kiss our ass to try to get things passed or to get things done. Mm-hmm. And the leverage that I have is to say, well, you haven't called the people back from Lauderdale by the Sea or Aventura or Sunny Isles. So no. And Maggie will tell you that we don't take meetings with people that have outstanding issues. Dr. Ali's got a very interesting case that has created a lot of pissiness in relationships that people thought they can, walk through the front door and they can't anymore. Okay? We got emails about your building that nobody knows we have, making comments about the secretary and the legislature as a whole. So they're gonna get wise on it. But that's the leverage that we have. So as soon as I heard about First Service not calling you back, I literally started texting the person about the person about the person who doesn't want me to be in Tallahassee on a microphone saying First Service sucks. Okay? So what we're gonna do is, it's like the number 2 at the company that we're gonna call tonight, and I'm gonna ask, you put her on the phone with this guy and he never called back, okay? And that's it. Okay. Sir, you've had your hand up, go ahead. Yes. Okay. Danielle, wherever you're going with the microphone is where we'll go.
Okay, I'm Nadia Edwards. I am from Winston Tower 700 in Sunny Isles. And I have a question for you. First of all, we are in pre-election time, and I would like to know if there is such a thing as pre-election fraud. This is what we are undergoing now. We have 2 candidates who have been written off the candidate list because they have, and I would say, bogus charges, fines, and fees on their account. Why do I say bogus charges? Because before the elections, the board and the president submitted for signature a new contract on storage rooms. We had a 99-year-old contract before, and he sued people who did not want to sign the new contract. They lost in court, and our president still does not want to remove these fines and fees that were put only because these residents or these owners.
And this issue was resolved in court? This issue went to court and is resolved and is closed?
Resolved, and it was denied.
Maggie.
And even.
I got it. There's two people that want to run for election and they're being prohibited for being on the ballot because of two outstanding fines that they've left on these people, even though those issues have been resolved by a court of law.
It was resolved in court, and even today.
Okay, how much are the fines? How much are the fines?
So it is contempt of court, in my opinion, and I wouldn't ask.
Now, how much is the amount that's keeping these people off the ballot for the election? How much?
How much they own?
I think that there was like $2,000 one and one $800.
2,800 and 2,000?
One 2,000, approximately 2,000, and one about 400 or 500.
Okay.
And because of that, they cannot run for presidency. Today, they issued or
Okay,
yesterday.
are they here? Are any of those two people here that owe fines?
Not with me, but I have another member of them.
Okay,
of the
okay,
association.
okay. Maggie, you got a court disposition on an outstanding issue related to storage and a long-term storage contract. Outstanding $500, outstanding 2,000 something. There should be a disposition in county or circuit court, and I want to see what the disposition is, and I need the names and the contact info of the people that have it outstanding. If it, ma'am, Nadia.
Excuse me.
So yesterday was my birthday. I didn't think I was going to make it this long. But hold on. But like I like to do at every one of these, if two people are in good faith trying to run for the board of Winston Tower 700, and there is a BS charge that's being placed on them, and Maggie finds a disposition, I will pay the fines for them personally so they can get on the ballot. Okay? Just give that information to Mally. Go ahead. Purple sport jacket was next. He's over there. Same issue? Go ahead. Let me just ask this real quick, because we have a time issue. Does anybody have you don't even know what I'm going to ask. I like you, but you don't even know what I'm going to ask. This is what I want to ask, because we have the secretary here. This is a question I have. Does anybody have something outstanding right now pending that they're waiting for their property manager or somebody to get something back to them that they haven't gotten? Go ahead. I know about you guys. I got it.
Just leaving these for anybody else.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I want to ask, do you have any
Please,
tangible,
folks, I'll stay here all night and meet with everybody,
measurable-
but just be respectful of everybody else. Go ahead.
tangible, measurable matrix where you measure your response time? I've waited for weeks for a response and I have no response. Do you measure that?
We do measure it. I think what you have to put into context, and the senators have talked about it, is that the department has been given approximately 75 new employees over the past year. And so to your point, what I can tell you is that the metrics aren't where we want them to be. At the same time, I know that just from being on a call with our chief performance officer this week, that they disposed of 10% of the cases that were on my list that were pending as being over 90 days from January. So they are diligently working them down. We have several resources that are in play in terms of additional trainings for these new employees, as well as writing a policies and procedures manual to help them get even more efficient. So they do get better every day.
So what's the matrix? If I waited for, let's say, 30 days, what do I do after that? Or is it 45 days, or is it 60 days? What is the matrix?
So the matrix is that they have, under the statute, is it 60 or 90 days? Where's Jen or Cassio or Christy? Is it 60 or? It's under investigation, but what is your total amount of time statutory? What's your total? It's either 60 or 90 days statutory.
Well, we're supposed to have an investigation done in 90, but if it goes over,
So
it doesn't just stop.
But what I will, but the critical point there though is that where the clock starts running for the department, and this is what we oftentimes run into, is that sometimes because of the fact that these situations are oftentimes governed by the documents for the association, we can't start that investigation until we have the documents that we need from our constituent. And so oftentimes, just because you sent something in on January 1, if we didn't get complete information the investigator needs, that 90-day clock starts running once we have what we need to actually do the investigation.
So when does it start? Once it's assigned to investigator or
No,
not?
once the investigator has documentation that's needed to complete the investigation.
So how do we know? How do we follow our case? How do I know when I should follow up?
So there are two things. One is that there already is I would say a rudimentary complaint website. If you go to the RAC cards that we handed out, condos.myfloridalicense.com, if you go and click on the complaint, complaint Q code, there'll be directions to how to get to that rudimentary system. Okay. The legislature last year appropriated funds to DBPR to build out a robust system where you can follow along. So in addition to the letters that you should be getting from Jen's team every 30 days, once an investigation is pending, this information is going to automatically be online this calendar year.
This calendar year?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
And your question also is sort of, when does the clock start ticking on the 90 days? Number one, and at what point can you stop asking for information so it's not really, the clock doesn't start ticking? And Secretary is mentioning is Senator Bradley made sure that in legislation, we also gave the resources to be able to have a system to do that. Listen, guys, we're gonna go individually. Go ahead. Go ahead. Guys, anybody, go, speak up. Go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Hi, my name is Tony Viveras. I'm also from Commodore Plaza. So what I'd like to say is we just had an election 3.5 months ago in February, and I ran for the board for the second time, and everybody was shocked that I didn't win. So I did a certified letter to the management and the board, also follow up with an email that I wanted to review all the ballots, the invalid ballots. There was actually over 90 invalid ballots, which is unheard of.
How many units in the building?
Excuse me?
How many units?
3.5 months.
How many units in the building?
Oh, I'm sorry. 656, 2 buildings. The person that won had 100 votes. The second person which was the vice president, had 85 votes. Prior to the election, he spent 2 hours in closed doors with management.
But did you guys have an election monitor there or somebody monitoring the election?
Yes, we had that, but...
Was somebody from DBPR there for your election?
No, they had somebody do the election, but at the same time, they had an attorney from the association there helping out.
Sorry, okay, guys, just, I apologize. I can hear, I want to be respectful to Tony. I can hear, you guys can keep talking, it's fine. Here's my question. Did you ask DBPR to have somebody there to monitor the election? Let me give you an example. Last year in Aventura, Joanne said, Senator, we have to go to this election. I was with 2 of the people from DBPR, and I watched as their election person that they hired to do it just started saying, I think 36 ballots were invalid. And I was like, why are they invalid? And there's a woman here, and she owns a place with her son, or her son is disabled. And they're like, well, it's in both their names, but he didn't sign off on it, and he can't hold a pen, literally, right? And so of the 26, we got it down to like 5 that were not valid.
I understand.
You're telling me in 656 units, with the top vote getter being 100 votes only, the vice president being 85, 90 ballots were considered invalid?
Yes, and I believe there was probably a total of 210 total votes.
90 of 210 were invalid.
Something like that, yeah. And I have.
Okay, I got that, Tony. That's all I need to hear. Listen, without a personality, without being subjective, without emotions, without those numbers, the math on that doesn't
make sense.
Doesn't math. Okay,
All I know DPR.
I got it, Tony. I got it.
But we need help.
I got it.
You got it?
Adam or Christie?
Thank you.
Adam right here.
Adam, can you, yeah, with him. 90 invalid on 210 total votes is.
Yeah.
It was next. Madam Secretary, Senator Bradley, Senator Pizzo, thank you so much for voluntarily coming here to face this firing squad. My name is Richard Cabrera. I am a resident of District 110. Senator Pizzo, I approached my state representative in District 110 for help with my issues with my COA in Miami Lakes, and didn't get anywhere. And I saw a comment about you by Ms. Marquez on social media and decided to reach out to your office. Kudos to Joanne, she's exceptional. I wouldn't use any other word but that. Very empathetic.
Mr. Cabrera, what can we do for you?
So, in terms of the DPBR, I want to focus on that because I heard all these complaints are very similar to mine. So I have an experience with DPBR. I feel like I know how to navigate the system now. After some initial false starts, I recognized what is relevant, what types of issues the DPBR will take up. I have 3 cases open. My first case took 14 months from start to finish. I have, in each of my cases, when I speak with the investigator, I find myself having to plead my case, having to convince them of the validity of the case. All 3 cases were finally taken up. The first one, again, took 14 months. At the end of the 14-month, Catherine Negard, the general counsel, issued a warning letter that was the equivalent of a wet noodle that said, you ladies and gentlemen, we don't condone your actions. You need to straighten up your act. They balked at that. They said, we never got anything. Nothing has happened. So my appeal here to you, especially Madam Secretary, we need enforcement. The legislation is phenomenal. But if no one enforces these people, they simply look the other way. They have, my association uses Becker Law. Becker Law is exceptional, I'll use the word again, at guiding them around finding loopholes.
Mr. Cabrera, the secretary wants to say something.
Go ahead.
I will say this, that regulation is not perfect. I think one of the things we've done well in Florida is to make us a business-friendly state that has made us the #1 economy in the nation, the number 13, 14, 15 economy in the world if we are our own independent country. On the same hand, to your point, it is enough is enough. And so what I can tell you on that is within the past month or so, our Office of General Counsel has changed its policies. And so our General Counsel and Deputy General Counsel are currently reviewing all of the proposed orders or closures in this realm and have been working with our attorneys to make sure that more enforcement actions are being taken. So it doesn't overly surprise me to hear the frustration in this room on that issue. What I can tell you is that within the past few weeks, that absolutely more aggressive action is being taken on those matters.
Thank you. That's going to make a huge difference. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mr. Cabrera. Before the next speaker, I want to make one mention of one thing about the 2 folks that were here earlier before and talking to Maggie. Guys, real quick. One of the things that draws me to this, or why I stay involved. So I had grandparents who lived in a condo in Cocoa Beach, and they didn't have great experiences. And they were older, and they didn't have, the resources necessarily, and someone fighting for them, and someone going to work. So here's what I don't want. I don't want anybody to get so upset that this gives you stress and affects quality time with your kids and your grandchildren. This makes you sick, and it makes you nauseous. But there's one thing I do want to say, because I think contentious board meetings are going to continue. If a police officer shows up to your meeting because somebody called, they don't know what the hell's going on. Who's wrong, who's this? All I know is there's a commotion, there's a group. there's a crowd, there's excitement or anger or frustration, and it's a powder keg, and something can go wrong. If a police officer tells you to calm down, or leave, or sit down, or shut up, do it. Does everybody understand me? Okay? If a police officer, a brave man or woman, asks you please to step outside or leave the meeting or whatever, here's the thing. I will help you. You're not gonna, nothing is so important as to lose your liberty or your rights, whatever. So if a police officer comes into a meeting and maybe she was right and maybe he was right or maybe they were wrong, I don't know. But these guys have no idea what the hell's going on in the meeting, and it's not their fault. So if they walk in and tell you to shut up or sit down or leave, do it. I assure you, in the city of Aventura, when I watched the video, there was a warning. Ma'am, please calm down. Ma'am, can I just ask you to calm down? Ma'am, I assure you, I've done ride-alongs with these guys many times, okay? So please just take that warning. You can vent to us, you can talk to us, you can yell at us, you can scream at us, whatever. But if a police officer comes in at one of your meetings, just listen, okay? Can we all agree to that? Yes, nod heads? Okay, go ahead.
Hi there. I just wanted to say happy birthday. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the time that you're giving us. My name is Frankie Trelenke. I'm born and raised Miami Beach, really. I sold my house, bought a condominium, and came to the conclusion that condos are a problem. So much as my entire career has been predicated on working with venture capitalists who buy broken companies. They hire me as a CMO. I fix their company and move forward. A condominium.
What's wrong with your condo?
I'm sorry?
What's wrong with your condo?
No. I'm working with, what I did was, I bought this condo, moved into it. It was a disaster. I ended up suing them, not for money, but for the right to have an election, because the DBPR was not effective for us. That was Buckley Towers, which notoriously has been probably one of the worst condominiums around for a long time. It's now a good condominium. What I did was I moved out, took a step back and said, you know what? Let me start helping people in these condominiums to fix their condos, to fix their business. So I created a company called COA Rescue, and it's now effectively helping. I've helped 5 different condominiums make a difference. The Royal Oaks condominium we're working with right now, they are currently doing a recall because they have a board that is really unruly and not doing the right thing. For the last 7 years, they've been very, very precarious. So they're in the process of recall, and we'll be in touch with you guys as soon as we're ready.
So you help condo owners. You help condo owners that are basically in crisis.
Correct.
Learn the relevant, important stuff to package together.
Teach them their rights.
Teach them their rights, and then help them and assist as they go off for an investigation.
Then, yeah, exactly. And then when they take over the board, they'll hire COA Rescue as the manager, as the management company.
One of the things that Senator Bradley and I have talked about for a long time, there's also another group that we worked with early on that are former detectives of the Miami-Dade Police Department at the time before they were sheriffs, who did economic crimes investigations.
Excellent.
And owners would hire them to go do forensic accounting and investigations as well. So that's something that we've also talked about, because really, Senator Bradley and I have one constitutional requirement in office. Does anybody know what it is? You get $100 if you know what it is. I have one constitutional duty as a state senator. Does anybody know what it is?
Pass the budget.
It's pass a budget. And guess what? We have to go back to Tallahassee next week because we didn't finish the job on actually passing a budget. We might not pass it next week. But one of the things that we do is a budget. We're waiting to see if her agency actually gets more necessary funding that we know they need, and sometimes they don't get it. And and many of you know this. I'm blessed to represent all of you, but Senator Bradley's from an area that has 4 condominiums. I think I have 4,000. Okay, so not all the money goes where it should go or where it's needed. So that's an ongoing discussion also about third-party providers being able to assist.
I have 2 asks.
Okay.
So basically, I come in and I teach the homeowners what their property rights are.
Sir, honestly, I'll be your biggest promoter afterwards on my Instagram.
Excellent.
I just need people that have condo problems while I have the secretary here.
You ready?
Go.
So 2 things. One, with the DBPR, when someone has a financial request and the boards don't deliver, the DBPR is effective in sending a letter, and then they fine. But when they fine the association. So who are they fining? They're fining the owners. You're fining the people that are needing the help. That's not a solution. So that's just one issue. The other is the condominium that I'm currently working with, which is called Crestview Towers. Thank you very much for everything that you did for that building. It's Phoenix rising from the ashes. I welcome you to come to the building, take a look at it. You're going to be really surprised at what it looks like. They have an issue.
Is the land still on a land lease there to a
It's on
Bahamian
a land lease, but they
to a
haven't paid.
Bahamian corporation?
I believe so.
I had to tell the condo owners that they don't actually own the land under the building.
Correct.
They had no idea.
Nah,
So they said,
that's-
Senator, if this building is condemned and is torn down, then what are we left with? What do we get? And I said, you don't own any part of the land, so you get nothing. So
The air.
I still view Crestview Towers suspiciously as a place where people wanted the building to be taken down and the land to be used for something else.
They still have a lot of pressure for that.
Understood.
However, the owners are very
All right,
interested in
sorry,
keeping the building. Here you go. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
The building has, all of its mechanicals have been replaced as a result of the
Yes.
4 years of being closed down. However, in the permit process, the city of North Miami Beach has been very, very reticent in assisting the building to be able to pass those permits and move on. So everyone in the building right now is in a process of being stuck by a 10-year permit for
All right,
fire
again,
alarms.
all right.
You know?
As of 6 months ago, I know I sent an email saying, guys, what's the holdup? And then people went, go slow, hurry up for a little while.
All
If
right.
I've got to do that again to get it
I have
closed up.
60 days of being there, and I
Okay.
can tell you it's a big difference.
Awesome.
Please come.
How
Can
about
you-
the
is there
second?
anything we
How
could do
about the
with
elderly
city?
woman in the second floor unit that was burned? Has that
It's
been
still there,
repaired?
and she's now on board. She's happy and fixing her
Awesome.
apartment. She's
All right,
in
cool.
good shape.
Cool.
But we need help from the city to be able to move the building forward.
Gotcha.
And that's where I need help from you guys.
Okay. Maggie, Taylor, I need, Taylor, I need, I'm pizzo.jason@flsenate.gov. I need the last email you sent to the city of North Miami Beach asking about the status of the permits. That's it. That's all I need.
Thank you, Senator Pizzo and Senator Bradley. Mrs. Griffith, pleasure to meet you tonight. And thank you for hosting this event. Nobody has acknowledged Daniela Marquez, who is the organizer, and she deserves
she's
great
fantastic.
credit. So
Right.
I have been to a few of those. In one of those, I offered to be a condo owner intern to your office. I would like to reiterate the offer. I'd like to speak to what happens when somebody like me has 7 complaints before the Office of General Counsel, has 3 complaints, the association has other 3 complaints under investigation, and things are really not moving.
Can you tell her which community, which property?
It's a Bonavita condominium.
I know.
And
I know.
You know all the
It's-
details,
it's-
so.
it's
you know,
number 2 on-
You know more about it.
And it's in red. I got you.
Got it.
Okay.
And here's what happens, you have a process or legislative process that the complaint has to be investigated. Things happen, we had a complaint 90 days after we follow up on the complaint and we learned that the investigator was no longer there. The investigator was replaced by another investigator, and we follow up 30 days later, and the manager of the investigator, which is the one who took over, is also no longer there. Probably part of the changes, and those are things that are happening. But after all is said and done, if all of you are successful and the DBPR does everything, they do the investigation, they get through the complaint, they find cause, you know what happens? The Office of General Counsel puts forward to the association a consent agreement. And in that consent agreement is basically us, the owners, are gonna pay the fines. The people that made the problems are going to get at the most, I have a copy of the consent agreement, at the most 1 hour or 2 hours of training, and everything is gonna start over again, because the people who actually did the wrongdoings have already moved on, are no longer on the board.
Okay, so let me put it, you're in a category of a case study that's actually going to be given to the Secretary's office. We have Joanne put together all of your email correspondence, all of your concerns about lack of budget preparation and special assessments. I got all of it. PM 1207, I got all of it. And that's one of the things, because Senator Bradley and I continue to discuss that there needs to be teeth.
I'd like to offer a suggestion.
I would like to suspend board members and that they can't serve, either for a period of 2 election cycles or
Yes.
3. Yeah.
My suggestion is copy the model of the aviation industry.
Yeah.
In an aviation industry, you're proposing, or you were proposing for this year, to the management companies to be mandatory for
Yeah.
certain communities.
Sorry, you're one of the files that everything you've given us is actually going to DP, hand delivered by me. Okay? So we'll definitely follow up with you on that.
So,
I got you. And I'm with you. The teeth are like,
So,
you know,
you
what
know-
do you win if you actually make it to the promised land, right? If you get the golden ticket at DBPR, what do you get? I understand. And that's some power we have to give them. So if you look,
and what's my real concern is that you have somebody who has, let's say in the best case, get a property management license, and that person can manage a $20 million building or a $100 million building just the same, without any qualifications. That's crazy. You know, you cannot give somebody a pilot license and just walk him into a jetliner to work for an airline. And that
understood.
is the management industry in Florida today.
we're
So-
also have been discussing a threshold of when you hit a certain number of units, I'm never going to be comfortable with a building over a certain number of units being self-managed. It's just never going to happen. So.
Thanks
yeah.
again, Senator.
Thanks. Sir, next. I got to get secretary out of here shortly, so go ahead.
Hello. We become like relatives for so many years, huh? I'm glad to see you in good health, okay? You lost some weight, good?
No, I gained some weight.
Somebody is working on you in the right way. My question is, you know, for more than 3.5 years, came, you know, the vice president of the building and said, we have a shortfall, and the shortfall is $10 million. And I ask a simple question. Where is the money? What I am paying for? And I don't know what I am paying for. It was a complete violation of Florida Statute 718 on a daily basis. It's a complete, you know, disrespect on senior citizens. And I will give you an example.
Yes.
They removed my shutters, okay? The contractor removed my shutters. I have the contract with the association. The association was obligated the shutters to be removed, stored, and put it back in the city as a custodian of the building, told that everybody who has a valid permit from the city is going to be, you know, put the shutters back. They never put the shutters back. They charged approximately $250,000. I say, where the money is? They say, the contractor give the money back to a project. Wait a second. This is my property. You need to give the money to me. You cannot use my money. You got my point?
How long ago was this?
What I'm trying to say.
How long ago?
I wrote a letter to DBPR, okay? Ashley Smith, your consul general, give to the association a penalty $4,000. They're supposed to give me an answer. They never give me any answers. So I wrote an additional letter, okay, and they never answered to me in the period what they're supposed to answer.
Do you have the case number or the investigation number?
What did you say?
Do you have the letter that you sent?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you give it to me?
What I'm trying to, well, not with me, you know, I was not prepared, but I will give it to you.
Okay, all right.
I will give it to
And
you.
and the secretary's
Your office knows me very well.
I know.
So,
Can you tell the secretary your association name?
So the association name is Winston Tower 600. It's the most
Same one
famous
as where
association.
the president's been recalled.
It's the most famous association probably, you know?
Okay. I got it. We got it. Got it.
What I'm trying to say, the violation is going on a daily basis because everybody is playing soccer with us. What I mean playing soccer, they report to the state attorney office. And the state attorney office says this is not a criminal issue. This is, if somebody steals the money or some money disappears, let's put it this way. This is not a criminal issue. Guys, you need to put the stuff together, okay? Because people get abused. And I'm talking about abuse, you know, somebody lost a life. In my building, I know people who lost their life.
Sir, I don't know if I have the authority. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble. I don't think I'll get removed from office, but.
Well, the point is.
No, let me finish what I'm going to say. I'm going to at least ask some people that are involved in the situation with Winston Towers. I'm just going to ask them, aren't they ashamed of themselves? I'm just going to ask them personally. So I don't know if I have the authority. I don't know if they'll call the cops on me, but I'm going to intervene personally. We'll figure it out until we figure out legislatively what to do. Your building, that association has serious fundamental problems that respectfully I've let others try to to look at, but I think it needs something a little different of a treatment. So I hear you. I don't want to hear anything else about Winston Towers because you're going to get me personally on property for a while. So let's just let other people talk. I'm coming to Winston Towers. I'm coming personally to Winston Towers. Our team is coming there to Winston Towers.
Thank you.
Sir. Okay, let me put it this way. I know that if you dig deep enough, that things go from negligence and ignorance to naivete to bending the rules to unethical to illegal. And I know how to follow it, and Maggie knows how to follow it and how to get there. And even if I prove your case, there's nothing her agency can do about it because we don't give them the power to put handcuffs on them, okay? And I know where to get, and then I know I can call the state attorney's office in Miami-Dade, where I used to work, and Maggie used to work for 15 years, and tell them, like we do police departments, detectives, on how to do an economic crimes investigation related to condos, and on a silver, I get it. I'm gonna come. Please let the next person, I'm coming to Winston Towers. I get it. Go ahead. Can you let the next person, I get it, I get it, sir. Let the next person talk.
Thank you very
Yes.
much, okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much, but with all due respect, you are a very nice guy, and you all got very, very respectable people.
I'm not very nice when people break the law.
No, you're very
okay?
good.
So,
What I'm trying to say, we're going nowhere, okay? We're going from 0 to 0.
sir, let me say this another way, okay? Here's what we're gonna do going forward. My office is gonna do going forward. We're gonna help the DBPR assess that even if you get exactly what you want, you prove your point, you make your case, you were right all along and they were wrong. And if the only thing you're gonna get at the end of that rainbow is a letter saying, don't do that again, and you wanted justice, you wanted a perp walk to the jail, you wanted to see someone prosecuted and all that stuff, well, one or two things are gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you that it's not gonna come from them and you're never gonna get it. Or, you know what, we're seeing so much of it that it is criminal and we need to put it in statute that it's criminal to get you the justice that you want. Because I want to be very clear about what Pablo said before. He made a really good point. That you get to the promised land, that you get to the end of the rainbow, you get everything, you get vindicated and proven correct and proven right. You know what you get? A letter goes to them and says, don't do it again. If there's any fine, you got to pay part of it. Okay, so we get it. Senator Bradley has long thought of the idea and discussed personal liability. And then we had our colleagues push back and said, well, then no one's ever going to run for a board if people become personally liable. It's going to have a chilling effect. And I think Senator Bradley at one point said, why don't we try it and see if we really think that a condo is just going to let itself not be governed, that no one's going to run for the board when it's their largest investment. So that's another thing that we have to consider. Can you let the next person take time? We got to be quick. Go ahead. Good to see you again.
Yeah, hi, how are you? Dear senators, thank you so much what you did for us. Secretary, thank you what you call us here. Dear Senator Jason Pizzo, happy birthday and up to 120 years.
The first what?
Up to 120 years.
Thanks.
Okay. I have two general questions. Right now is people who here, most of people live in condo 40 years plus. And it's not millionaires, it's not so rich people.
Correct.
Have any chance postponed or not make installation of fire sprinklers heads?
I've been to your building. I've been to your community a couple times. And I will be the first person to tell you that I do not think that the cost associated with ELSS systems justifies the safety they think it provides. Now, I don't want to, hold on a second. Let me be very clear. I do not want to be the person, as I was told by my colleague Ed Hooper many years ago. I voted against it. I actually filed a bill to postpone it even longer. And here's why. I thought that certainly insurance companies would recognize the actuaries, the people that actually do the percentages and propensity and frequency. I thought that surely you would get a discount on your property insurance if you installed a wet sprinkler system, right? Well, that's what they said, it's gonna be safer. So I made a deal with other colleagues of mine in the Senate, and I said, listen, I'm gonna go to 3 insurance companies. I'm gonna ask them, if the installation of wet sprinkler system reduces their property insurance
Increase
payment,
it.
right? 2 came back and said no, and 1 said it's higher because we get water damage from, okay,
From
now.
fire sprinklers, yes.
Now, so here's the thing. And then one senator said to me, do you really want to vote against the bill and an elderly 80-year-old woman in your district, Senator, is going to die in a fire? Do you want to be the person that votes for that? I said, no, but I don't want to be the person that votes for a bill that displaces and kicks out 12,000 of those 80-year-old women because they can't afford the special assessment. Okay. That requirement, yes. In a perfect world, do you want a wet sprinkler system? Yes. That requirement is driven by vendors who sell sprinkler systems. Okay, and people who are involved in the sales of those products. I think it's ridiculous that a line item in a building in your area, it's $12 million for the installation of sprinkler systems. I'm with you.
Not just about my buildings, it's a question about all 40 years and older building. It's not like personal about our buildings. Because ALS system come from two parts. Fire springs heads, well, just
No,
one head
this is kind of nuanced. The person who pushed for this forever in the Senate just announced his retirement, so maybe we might next year be able to.
No, maybe we can just postpone it right now for next few years. And
All right. I understand on the ELSS system, but I'm going to tell you something that some of the people in this room have heard me say before. There's a guy that goes to the doctor, and he's told he has 6 months to live. He can't afford to pay the doctor bill, so the doctor gave him another 6 months to live. You understand? Okay. Can we let the next person talk? I'm happy to talk to you about it after. Thank you.
Okay, next question about also general question, because everybody also struggling with high windstorm insurance. And everybody know for entire history of state of Florida, wind and any kind of hurricane never destroy to the ground any high-rise concrete building. Can we officially take like adequate, not full windstorm coverage?
So I had a bill this year and also an amendment this year as it relates to the actual damage that's caused by hurricane winds to condos. It's not flooding, it's always water intrusion as well.
Yeah.
And there's a large window manufacturer who pushed back really hard, makes donations to other. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I would expect this year to readdress that issue.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And now is one personal question. You know where I live in Olympus Condo, is 1,093 units, it's Broward County, it's not Dade County. But we just finished 40 years, 50 years recertification, concrete restoration, and especially, for example, we pay for joints repairs, concrete joints leaking is $1.6 million. And I point this question to the board, point to the association, and half of joints still leaking, is not fixed. Our budget for 1,093 units is around $16 million, what is crazy. A lot of buildings have much less budget, and we have neglected hallways, and we already collect for ELS system twice money. It was included in one special assessment and loan, and now it's planning toward special assessment for ELS. Can you help something with this situation is my personal question.
Okay, so one thing this brings up a good point as we're nearing the end here to remind people, if you're being asked to pay for assessments for items that are also subject to a municipal or county inspection, please don't be shy about asking those city and county officials about the quality of work or what just happened. I don't know if that's cosmetic or not, the $1 million
I
for.
asked city, and what his answer was city Hallandale, you know about Hallandale City.
Right.
Hallandale Beach City building official answer for me, we're not anymore after Surfside take any responsibility, any inspection for concrete restoration, 40, 50, 60, whatever is certification. For all response, you assign it, engineer with SI special.
I understood.
Wherever if engineers say, okay, for us is okay.
All right, I got you. Those are, okay, so here's another little thing, and then we're gonna let the next woman speak. If you got a question that involves another branch of government, if you've been asking a city official for something, or a county official, or a federal official, it helps. I can't speak for your management company, for their attorney, for whatever shady stuff that's going on. But if it's another one of our colleagues in another branch of government or another level of government, just copying us on an email is very effective. When Phyllis here from North Miami Beach is not getting a response on something at the state level from a state agency, what I ask her to do is send the exact same email, just copy me on the email. Because it goes, but then they're going to see a .gov and they're like, well, whose office is that? And then she gets a response. I do the same thing. If I don't get a response for someone locally, I send it to Phyllis and say, Phyllis, why isn't this person in this department at North Miami Beach not responsive? And that's it. I mean, that's one way to do it. So the Hallandale Beach guy who says, we no longer have that, okay. Let the next lady speak, if you will. I'm happy to follow up.
I'm finished. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello again.
Good evening, Senator Pizzo and Bradley, and Secretary DBPR.
Ooh, Secretary Griffin. Yeah, very good.
I forgot your name. So, and I'm familiar with the senators.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I am a condo resident in Surfside. And I'm here just to, and I will speak briefly.
Yes.
To talk about recent issues that I've had reporting to DBPR. So in April, I talked to the condominium in Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
They were great. They recommended I file a complaint, which I did. I received an answer April 9th from a representative there.
Right.
And she asked me for information on the complaint, which I immediately sent to her in an email. I didn't hear from her. I followed up with 2 phone calls and again another message to the Ombudsman Condominium Association in Fort Lauderdale. Yesterday I received a letter saying the case was closed because she did not
Receive info that she requested from you?
She said she didn't receive my information. And I was very, very upset, and I responded today saying that I gave her a copy of my initial complaint, which is similar to a lot of things we heard tonight, and I copied her on my complaint. So again, I just received back.
Cassie, can we get the, go ahead and.
I received back, so I wrote her an email, and by the end of the day today, because I asked that it not be closed, I sent you the information.
Right.
I tried to call you twice and left you a message.
Right.
And she replied back again, the case is closed.
By email.
Yes, by email.
You want Cassie to take one?
Yeah, Jen's tied up.
So
Cassie,
I'm really concerned about the process.
Initiated an inquiry investigation. April 9th is the last correspondence she got, followed up with 2 phone calls, email, whatever, finally got a response, closing it out, saying that they never received any subsequent information that they had asked for.
Even though she sent
But
it.
she had already sent it.
And then I complained, and then she said, case is closed. I have to file another complaint.
We'll figure, if you can get
We'll
Cassie.
figure it out.
Okay, all right. Not to mention the complaint, but anyway, nice to see you. Thank you.
Guys, I gotta get the secretary out of here and on the road. Is there any, if it's an open pending issue locally that I can go scare your board, then let me know. If it's specific to DBPR, go ahead.
George Kouslos, this is real quick. It's really for the legislators here, but the recently enacted 8-year term limit thing, I see has a big loophole in it. There's the 2/3 of the votes cast is the exception to the 8 years, as I understand it.
Senator Bradley, 2/3 exception on 8 years? To waive it?
I need
No.
to talk. I would need to see the exact language of how.
Yeah. In your particular situation for your board, are they citing a statute where they say if they have 2/3 to override the 8-year term limit?
Yeah, it seems the legislation, as I read it.
No. So some of the commencement dates, 2 things I heard from you guys a lot was, hey, my board member has never gone through the training. Somebody who's already in office, I've explained to a number of you, the date starts new. But on 2/3 waiving a statutory requirement that caps the amount of service years is not something I'm familiar with.
Okay, because
Yeah,
if it's true, just one quick recommendation.
Yeah, but if somebody put that in writing to you and it's not true, then they have a problem. So if I can have okay, Maggie or Christy or somebody, Adam. No, that is, okay. He has a situation, Adam, where he's in a condo association and a board member, instead of abiding by an 8-year term limit, is saying with a 2/3 vote, they can override the statutory limit on 8 years.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ms. Crisales. Hello again.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing?
We have a comment. It's actually directly for the DBPR, because what I've been hearing a lot of people in here saying, I started filing with the DBPR in 2018.
Which community?
Windmill Lakes, Cypress Gardens,
Yep,
Bear Rise of Sunrise.
Sunrise,
and
yep.
Three Horizons.
yep.
Our property manager has been arrested. but
Michael
that
Curtis.
was with no help from the DBPR. That's my complaint. Because 8 years ago.
DBPR has taken his license 3 times.
Yes, but that was after he was arrested.
No, before he was arrested, and it was overturned by the First Circuit Court, the first
You want to
DCA.
say we're living it. We're the ones that are living it. So we can tell you
If I
what
can
we were
just-
doing since
Hold
2018.
on. I just want to, if I may. Secretary Griffin, when she came on to DBPR as secretary, sat down with Senator Bradley and I specifically and made a commitment about doing as much as you possibly can. Michael Curtis's license was actually taken before he was arrested, and the District Court of Appeal told DBPR that they took it too early, and then they suspended it again. So I want to be, this is all in a court docket. This has nothing to do with, I want to be very clear.
Right.
Showing ambition, his license was actually taken before he was arrested. So I want to be clear about that. And then that was fought and challenged, and it went up to appeal and the court actually overturned and said no. So, go ahead, sorry.
To add on too, and then
Not
his
that what happened hasn't been
father-in-law
horrible.
then also tried to apply for a license, and we were on top of it and did
Stepfather or
not.
father-in-law?
No,
I
he
believe
did
it's
get
the
it because he was managing us up until a couple months ago.
What I can tell you is that the new license that was applied for on behalf of
Oh,
Michael
yeah,
Curtis
yeah,
was not granted.
Correct.
Yeah, so yes, the license was taken 3 times in addition to denying then the new
But he was
application
like
attempts.
grandfathered in or something, and that's why he was able to still run our community, which it was actually still Michael Curtis running our community.
When the first DCA, sure, gave him his license back.
No, well, when his father was running it. The man is 90 years old and lives in Port St. Lucie, but he's running communities in South Florida. I mean,
If there are complaints, we're happy to look into what is going on with the
It's not-
father-in-law,
it's
but
not-
in terms of
we're
what the
at the
father-in-law
point-
did to apply for a license on behalf of Michael Curtis, that was not granted.
this is to help other people in the future, because at this point, we're all in recalls,
Right,
we're all in
right,
receivership,
right,
we're
right.
all doing what we need to do.
Understood.
But the problem is that, like I said, 8 years ago, when I filed with DBPR, it was for transparency, for budgets, for all these same things that everybody in here has been complaining about. And 8 years later, 2026, everybody's still complaining about the same thing. You guys need to do what we need to do. I've spoken to you before. I used to work for Aventura Police Department. I was a 15-year crime intel analyst.
I know exactly
And I told you there's ways to go about this. I mean, if you know, Detective Seeley's been making the biggest arrests here in Turnberry.
I called the secretary personally on the phone to say, listen, it's cool that he got arrested, that they're finally paying attention. He still has, I think I termed it like this, he still has access to the books at other properties, right?
Right, he still has access to the books. That's the problem.
Vis-a-vis,
We're all at zero. We have a receivership, we're all starting at zero. Every community is in a receivership. Some of them are still fighting him to this day in Three Horizons.
His father's license right now, stepfather's
Yeah.
license.
Stepfather's license.
And he has it until November, he's not.
And he's
due to
still
give it up.
using it.
And the
We know
stepfather is
this.
90 and lives in Port St. Lucie.
Yes.
Okay.
So what the hell, how
What-
could he still be running his HOAs and condominiums when he's he's already been arrested 3 times and you guys still have him out there working?
When you say,
What the
okay,
hell?
And you have all these board members from 5 communities.
Right.
That didn't pay their maintenance for over 4 years, 5 years, owing 21,000, 33,000, 31,000.
On each
You need
account.
a criminal law in the state of Florida.
sir,
The board
guys,
members need a law.
let me say this, okay? Let me say this. I filed a bill 8 years ago that said that condo owners should have access to records, that you should be able to go on a website and get readily access financial statements and accounts and bids and contracts. And I was told it's unnecessary and it's not needed. Then I tried again, I filed a bill the next year, and I said, okay, let's not cap it at 150 units or more, let's go with fewer units. And I was told it's unnecessary. It took 98 people that I represent dying to get a single condo bill passed with something in it.
Right.
And if you think that the finished product that passed the legislature is everything that Jen Bradley and I could possibly think of that will solve everything, you're wrong. They started about 500 pages and whittled down to the 70 that our colleagues will stomach, hold their nose, and vote for. I absolutely agree with you. I would like to grab a couple of the brave men and women from Aventura Police Department right now and go kick down a few doors and have people arrested that should be arrested. I'm with you.
But can I just say something? I know your hands are tied, especially when it comes to legislative stuff, because God knows.
The hands are tied crap. People don't have the political will to go ahead and allow the fact that many people who are from large companies who donate to politicians can convince them not to vote for something if it's included in the bill to have large companies held accountable in these circumstances. That's the bottom line. That's absolutely the bottom line. That is whether it's vendors selling sprinklers or management companies or law firms, okay? There are certain law firms that some of their attorneys should lose their license in the state of Florida. Okay? I'm 100% with you, but I have a bunch.
But on the DBPR end,
Yes.
with the investigations, those investigators are doing their investigations behind a computer screen. We never see feet on the ground. I mean, there's a couple people, we could say George Malero, those people that you guys have in place now, but there's nobody from your offices that are doing. We were making complaints about we had no elections for 10 years. We're getting our first election July 14th because now we have a receiver for the first time in 10 years. Okay, there's things that need to be done, and you guys can't do investigations from behind a computer. Your DBPR investigators do absolutely nothing sitting there doing investigations from a computer. They can forge documents, they can do whatever they want to do and say, oh, look, we did have an election. Bullshit, because every time they do, they lie. We did it for 10 years, we went through it.
You're doing all the talking, and really she should be doing the talking.
Yeah, and I get that
She
you're
has no
helping her,
accountability.
but
None.
a lot of people
None.
need the DBPR to do their, I spoke to you about doing this as a criminal intel analyst working at Aventura, and I said, if you guys need us to come in, I'll help you build up whatever you need to do, whatever needs to be done, because the investigation needs to be feet on the ground. You
Listen,
cannot do an investigation from behind a
I don't
computer
pull
screen.
punches and I'm very candid. Cassio, who's now the newly installed director, right, for this? Okay. Cassio and I had a meeting last year in Broward County, and we're watching in real time fraud being, let me finish, sir. I do 100 hours a week and I do it for nothing, okay? We're watching in real time fraud being committed by a board in real time sitting next to each other. I said, Cassio, you see this? And he goes, yes, Senator. I go, this is outrageous. Yes, Senator. This is ridiculous. Yes. Can't you like charge up there and stop it and arrest everybody and tell them, no, Senator, we're not authorized. We don't have the power. We're not permitted to do that. And I said, what do I say to you? Well, this is a bunch of bullshit that needs to change. So I take that experience where somebody with DBPR polo shirt is at the meeting and these board members are saying, screw you, Senator, screw you, police officers, literally at the meeting, okay? Fire their attorney, say all this thing, install somebody else, make all these kinds of threats. And I'm sitting here as a person who used to prosecute people who murdered children. And I'm like, I want to grab these people by the neck, right? Okay, here's my point. I go back, I sit down with Bradley, I go, this is outrageous. You know what I do? I bring her to the next meeting so she can see the continuing pattern. And then we go back and we say, those people should be arrested. We should put this in the law. We should put this, we should put this, we should put this. And when you say your hands are tied, my hands really aren't tied. The beauty of my job, I'm not beholden to anybody. I don't care who knows who's related to who, because nobody can change my mind.
But you're one of the few.
I'm one of 4, really honestly, in the Florida Senate, 4 who follow our conscience, and the right thing to do is to criminalize this behavior, is to let people know. And when Michael Curtis gets arrested at Building A, Michael Curtis, at least temporarily, should lose his ability to do anything with Building B, C, D, E, and F. I'm with you. I agree. I absolutely agree. What's that? And I think board members who are suspended and removed from office for doing something with tampering with elections or any of that stuff, I can't affect the constitutional rights as an owner and their quiet enjoyment of their property, but I think they should be suspended from future service. Absolutely, absolutely. These four, Joanne's got it on my front page. It's you guys. I got your email addresses, your phone numbers. It's everything that we're handing over. You are literally one of the case studies in the awful limitations of this whole process. Because even if she goes, my God, they're absolutely right. Really? They're going to get a letter.
And then he has the asshole lawyers that are working for him
Understood.
as well, that are doing what they're doing.
I consider it a type of theft when 21,000, 32,000, 30,000 and still going and still able to access and have use and enjoyment of buildings and amenities and all of this stuff and still doing it and leveraging their position, I think is criminal. I just got to convince 21 other colleagues in the Senate to think it's criminal too.
The board members at multiple communities, at least 4 or 5 now, have not paid their maintenance in years.
And do you have board control?
Matter. When our investigative reporter from NBC6 sat with the Attorney General of Miami-Dade, Catherine Fernandez-Rundle even said her hands are tied.
Okay, and these are people, hold on, this is what, these are people who are still on the board.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, they all just got removed. Ours were removed 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so is the new board being installed moving to foreclose on them right away?
But we're not on the board. We can't tell.
Are the new board members who were installed moving to foreclose on those people right away?
We're all in receivership right now.
Yeah, you're right.
We all
I got you.
We
Yeah.
all have
Yeah,
elections
I
coming up in
understood.
July and August.
Yeah.
Cassio and Jen are in the back. If you can get them their information.
No, this is one of the files that,
which
yeah, I have 6 that I'm giving you as like whole packages because theirs is a particular case that requires legislative change. In their situation, if the board, it's kind of like Winston Tower 600 in a sense that if the board is resistant and will not budge or change or even exercise, understand the law, Senator Bradley and I have discussed where a group, a significant critical mass of owners by themselves, not as a formal board, should be able to initiate some action, like a foreclosure, like a proceeding. That's something that we're talking about. That's not really on a DBPR level.
And what I want to get is, so what I have, because I'm double checking with the team, is that we have a voluntary revocation of the stepfather's license. And so that's what we need is specific information that you have that today the stepfather is still operating. Because from our side, we have now taken Michael Curtis's license 3 times. He's in jail. Stepfather, we also have his license. So that's where we need the specific information from you that would back up. I mean, your former police. So Cassio and Jen are right there. We'd be happy to take it and continue to look into it.
Michael Curtis used trial de novo against all of our communities to stop us.
I understand what happened in the past. What I'm focused on is if the allegation that you're making tonight is that stepfather is still operating, that's what I want to take care of for you. And that's what I need is what is the information that we can have to show that stepfather is still operating?
When we have these recalls.
Guys, you guys are one of a group, you guys are a part of a small group that are going to get in-person meetings with legislators and DBPR together. We're doing this as a case study. Yours is a case study.
And just so you know.
No. I'll give you 8 hours straight.
No.
Just, I want to be respectful of okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
And Jen and Cassio are in the back too, if you want to give them more information about the current
Guys,
stepfather activities.
If you have like emails or whatever, or any actions taken by stepdad, like recently, we need to know because secretary is literally holding on her phone the surrender of the stepfather's license. So if there's an email that was sent out like a week ago to unit owners from them acting as a manager, that's like important to know. Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are here tonight. I wish you would come more often to these because it's good to be able to get questions out. So my first one is for DBPR. We had election fraud at our place. The letters went out for people to apply for the board as the board member. The term finished off, 4 people put in for it. We have a 9-member board, 4 people put in for it. The other people who were on the board didn't put in their application. They were too late. All of a sudden, we have a board meeting coming up, all about we're going to change the election after 4 people had already been picked, and come to find out, the other 5 people that
Which community is this?
Waterview.
Waterview.
Yes, I've talked to Joanne about this a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
times.
yeah. This is ringing a bell. So after an election happened and they didn't like the result, they decided to change the election
Well, we
laws.
didn't have an election, it was the people that applied to
Right,
be on the
gotcha,
board.
right.
So it got to the point where they had the meeting, it was at the point where it was going to be too late because our bylaws give us a 30-day, you can extend the
Yep,
election
yep.
past the year, and they were going to be past it. I brought it up at the board meeting, they didn't care. They just they stopped the meeting, stopped the election, put out for a brand-new election, and
Okay. Yeah.
just went with it.
Did you tell Joanne in my office who the attorney is for your board?
Yes.
Okay, guys, listen, here's the deal. We can all agree that it's not really clear cut about what the rules and the laws and everybody bends them and interprets them. The reason why you keep hearing me ask about an attorney is because the person that I can actually communicate with, who's held to a higher standard, who has something to lose professionally, is an attorney. And in this situation, instead of finding out who the board, all I'm going to ask the attorney is, did 4 people apply? Was this when the election was said? And why was it moved to this date? Why was it moved to this date? The attorney has to give me a response if he's practicing law and representing himself in condo law. So that's the fastest track. So that's the one we're going to do with
So
Waterview.
the bottom line was to it, we still don't have.
I got to get the secretary out of here. I'm going to, sir, Waterview, your
don't-
attorney, I'm going to find out why the election was changed.
This was a year and a half ago. 2 elections have gone by since, we still don't have a final answer. That's what it's coming down to.
I don't care if it was 5 years ago. I still want to ask the attorney who was there at the time, who blessed it and said it was okay and was kosher to move forward with that election scheme. Because that person, sir, is probably still practicing law somewhere else and allowing the same thing to happen.
The president at the time happened to be an attorney, he did what he wanted. It was one of those.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So I got another one. This has to do with a law that was passed last year. This has to do with reserves. When the reserves were the law was passed last year, it gave us the option that we could waive reserves for 2 years, provided we had a milestone inspection done. The information went out. I tried to argue with the board. The board didn't really want to hear it. So I went out and started a petition with the people. Hey, I got about 45 people because it was such a quick board meeting that came up. 45 people signed a petition to say, hey, we want to waive our reserves this year. We've had a milestone inspection. Well, when I brought it up to the board, I had to tell them, hey, listen, every time we have a board meeting, you forget the attorney. You never bring him in anymore. He's the only one who can interpret this. The board, I brought it up, they brought in the attorney. They argued and argued for over a half hour. And it all came down to the milestone inspections. And the milestone inspections, it's very vague on what people know and what they don't know. So this board argued for like a half hour, and not one of them could tell me what the milestone inspection really meant, okay? When I asked the attorney, I said, hey, listen, there's 2 milestone inspections.
Right,
There's
right,
milestone 1,
right,
milestone 2.
right.
That's not in the law at all. So no one knows that at the time.
Jane.
And
All right, Senator Bradley's going to take this one because.
I've got a question, though. It was the confusion because it was a recertification, a 50-year recertification through the county and not a statutory milestone?
We were just finishing up on a 40-year.
Okay.
And we were waiting
Yeah.
for our certification, but the bottom line was.
This is what I would tell you. When we changed the law to provide that financial relief for folks who had done their milestone inspection so that they didn't get double layer of financial impact, complying with the repairs for the milestone, as well as seeding those reserves, especially if they were underfunded. The goal is, and I believe it is clear, I understand that there are some attorneys in the state who are saying that that 2-year pause only counts for the milestone and not for recertifications in the 2 counties that already had that. That is crazy to me, and I believe that that will be taken care of in rulemaking, Madam Secretary, to make clear that the 2-year pause, it is, the very intent is if you're complying with either a recertification or milestone, it's a structural integrity study.
Understand.
That when you pay that money out, you may deplete your reserves in order to do that. So what you do is you give people 24 months or another glide path, and then they can start their reserves anew. And I've heard that argument from folks about recertification milestone. I do not believe that to be a conflict.
But hear me out the way this is written. We just got done spending $14 million on our 40-year certification. We were just about done with it. The last inspection had been done. No one, including the attorney, could tell me what milestone 2 meant.
Who's the attorney?
Siegfried Rivera, but it was
You're
one
saying-
of their newer guys that didn't know anything about it.
Okay, here's a perfect example of what I said 36 minutes ago. Say, hey, we were talking about this at the last meeting. I've copied Senator Pizzo on it. Can you go ahead, Mr. Attorney, and give your explanation and your interpretation as it relates to milestones? Just do that.
But the thing is, the board took their action because they said, hey, listen, it's our call, we can do what we want. We voted and they got the reserves.
Gotcha.
Okay? We just got done spending $14 million.
So that they accelerated the payment. You could have got it. I get it.
With the reserves again, on top of an assessment that I really don't think we need. It's like double layer of money coming out of our pocket. I came to retire, not to pay for new buildings.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ali, we're going to let these people speak. Yours is, Doctor, your case is the first case that's going to DBPR in our case study. Okay? So your 6 investigations, the OGC, the slap suits, all of it. Okay? Sir, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Diego from Waterview as well. I'm going to make a question and then I'll elaborate on that. What does the legislation say as to, okay, the board members should be 9, right?
Should be 9?
How many?
No.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Does it anywhere say if the board members have to be a full-time residents or not?
Full-time resident?
Full-time residents?
No.
In the building?
No.
No? Because we get. Okay, because this is my concern.
When you hold on. Sorry, when you say full-time resident, do you mean like a full-time resident of a particular
building? Or
do you mean are they renting out their unit? Or listen, or do you mean are they here more than 180 days a year in the state of Florida?
Right. Does it say anything on the laws about that or not?
That no, but the use of their space. So you can have things in the bylaws, but and this is what I think doctors sort of allude to. Inversely, you don't have to be here, but are you asking, do you rent your unit out? Like, do you have a tenant or are you acting as a landlord? You're not an actual occupant, like user of the building. Is that your question?
My concern mostly.
What's the concern?
I know a lot of people in our building, Waterview, 394 units,
Yep.
I think, something like that. Anyways, it is that a lot of the board members don't live year round in the building. And some of them.
Sure, the last building I lived.
But they don't feel the pain, the everyday pain that we feel. The residents, the owners, residents live in the building 365 days of the year.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm going to ask you a hypothetical.
Yeah.
They don't see the day in and day out pain and burdens that you suffer.
Yeah.
But that you're also using a building and the amenities that they don't use day in and day out because they're there very infrequently. So you have the benefit of the pool's not that crowded because all these people who are on the board from Michigan, New York, Canada, Mexico, and Texas aren't here. So do you follow what I'm saying?
No, totally.
I lived in a building in Coconut Grove where nobody was ever there. They had board meetings, probably illegally, like telephonically from New York, Boston, and Chicago, wherever they were. It was nice because there was like nobody around and like, you had the pool to yourself. The last building I lived in Sunny Isles was hell, was absolute hell of a situation. There was a gentleman who spoke here earlier before where we were at his condo, and I don't know if you heard me, up on the screen, they had everybody that was on the board. One person was in Toronto, one was in Turkey, one was in Los Angeles, and I get what you're saying, but they don't have the burden that you have every day of living there, but they don't have the benefit of using the space and amenities that you use that they're also paying for.
I agree with you.
There you go.
But my last point with this
Sure.
is they're making decisions onto spending a bunch of money. Ernie just said it, I mean, the person that was here before, he said, we went through a 14 million assessment.
Yes.
And they just wanna go, I mean, spend money left and right on no needs, things that we don't need. I mean, that mean, maybe we all want them, but we don't need them.
One of the
So
most,
why are we gonna spend money
one of the
on
most
things that we don't
important,
need?
one of the most important things that Senator Bradley and I discussed over the past couple of years was, how do we know what's, people have come up here and said, it's ridiculous, it's crazy, the amount. That's relative, because what's crazy to you might not be crazy to the person sitting next to you. What Senator Bradley and I have discussed is a cap. And we spoke about with the governor's office directly, with Cutterman when he was in the office a couple of years ago, that we think that an assessment should not exceed a certain percentage of something, whether that's the assessed value that the property appraiser has, whether it's a market value that you sort of want to arrive at. But when someone says, Senator, we have a $20 million assessment, I'm like, my goodness, how many units are there? They're like 1,000. I'm like, okay. What is different when someone says we have a $20 million assessment, how many units? There's just 30 units. You get the scale and the difference, right? Okay, so what's really important here is I wanted a very objective, non-emotional, not subjective trigger that says if an assessment is levied or contemplated and it exceeds 15% of the assessed value of the unit that's on the tax roll, then that is per se subject to in subsequent investigation. Do you follow what I'm saying? That it triggers a third party having to take a close look at the legitimacy of those expenses. And that's something we've talked about extensively. We brought property appraisers and tax collectors into the office when they're in Tallahassee to ask them what they think. Broward, actually, Marty Chiara seemed okay with it. There was a new Miami-Dade one, but I think if you live in a unit that's assessed at 100,000 and you get a $2,000 assessment, you don't agree with it, I'm sorry, go to the board meeting and make the case. But if that same $100,000 unit gets slapped with a $25,000 assessment, that's pretty close to them thinking the building's about to come down or something doesn't smell right, and they should have to justify and show their work and qualify those numbers. Does that make sense? And that's something that we're gonna work on in the future, so I appreciate it. Thanks, ma'am. And yeah, we gotta go.
I'm really sorry, I'm really thankful for everybody coming today, but I have to get them up and out.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm gonna walk. Yep. Thank you, guys. Can you walk, Secretary? Yeah.
I just wanted to say, because I know maybe we have time. Oh, it's excellent feedback. Yes, no.